Good morning, I'm Eric Reeser. A pair of power play goals powered the Blue Jackets to a 5-1 win over the Stars last night in Dallas. Adam Fantilli and Boone Jenner found the net in the first. CBJ buried 3 goals in the third. Elvis Merzlikins had 22 saves in the win. That brings Columbus to 500 on the season at 3-3. Blue Jackets will go for their 3rd win in a row this Friday night, hosting the Washington Capitals. The NBA's regular season tipped off on Tuesday. The OKC Thunder hung an NBA championship banner, then beat Kevin Durant, the Houston Rockets, 125-124 in double overtime. Out in Los Angeles, the Lakers were without LeBron James and fell to the Warriors 119-109. Jimmy Butler had 31 points for Golden State. On the court tonight at 7, the Cavaliers are at the Knicks. Cleveland's going to be without Darius Garland as he recovers from off-season toe surgery. This update is sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. Together to serve you better. Scheduled today at thewaterworks.com.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
Oh, come on. Let's do it live on a first Friday miracle edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. You know what that is? That's the sound of nostalgia. That's what that is. That puts a smile on your face when you hear it. If you're of a certain age, you instantly can be transported back to a previous time. For me, it's Jordan is all I think about. I just think of Jordan and the 90s. I can't imagine being Fish or Mike or somebody who's from Chicago and has an AR, what that means to them to hear that, because to me that just meant that Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Kukoc, Kerr, Paxton, Cartwright, all those cats were coming out, Horace Grant, all of them, and that's what it meant. When I hear that, that's what that takes me back to immediately. It reminds you. It's funny, we had a pre-show meeting, just take you behind the curtains, and one of the things that Fish talked about was how powerful nostalgia is, and I think by and large we use it pretty effectively on this show because there are touchstones in our life with sports that take us back to places immediately. And so before we even had the meeting, I had the Mad Men scene. If you've not seen Mad Men, it's one of the greatest television series ever made. I think it holds up absolutely perfectly through the years. There's a pitch that Don Draper, who's an advertising man, makes in, I think, season 1 or 2, where he's selling the Kodak Carousel, which is a slideshow mechanism, which doesn't even exist anymore. But if you're old enough, you probably went to your grandma's house or your uncle's house, and you'd all get around and watch slideshows on a wall of kind of, hey, this was our summer vacation to wherever, and you'd watch these things. So anyway, he's given a pitch, and he pitches nostalgia. And he uses photos of his family as the images that you see using the carousel slide mechanism that Kodak has. And he talks about nostalgia. He says it's delicate, but it's potent. What NBC did last night was tap into nostalgia with the NBA in the biggest way possible. When you hear that song, it takes you back. I mean, they had Michael Jordan on at halftime, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But the other thing they did, and this is the part that I found even more interesting than the low-hanging fruit of nostalgia and that song and all of it. The other thing that they did was pretty revolutionary. I was in local television for almost 20 years in local television. And the one thing when I first got into television, local television, the first affiliate I worked at was a CBS affiliate in Billings, Montana. And one of the very first things that you realized at that time was you do not mess with the primetime schedule. you were going to have, and we were Mountain Time Zone, so you were going to have network shows at 7, 8, and 9, and then local news hit at 10. Here in the East, it's 8, 9, and 10. Local news hits at 11, but you didn't mess with the primetime schedule. You would not dare put sports, regular season sports, in a primetime network schedule. Last night, with nostalgia as kind of the banner that they walked under, NBC, a network, now that means something different now than it did 25 years ago, but a network put regular season NBA games on in prime time on their network. And they didn't just do it at 7:30 and 8. No, they double-headered it. They had a second game that started at 10, and they blew through the primetime window, blew through it. They went to what we refer to as the second window, or in college football, we call it the fourth window, right? Those 10 o'clock kicks on a Saturday night or a Friday night. And why are they doing that? They're doing it because their audience is being pulled in a million different directions by a million different streamers and services and apps and all these other things, and their audience has shrunk. But there is one thing that's held, in the case of football, grown. It's sports. That's a 25-year evolution in terms of what we think of network television and prime time. 2 NBA games, season opening, but they're going to do this all year. We're on NBC Network on a Tuesday. And to me, that's a sign of things to come. And I couldn't help but think, are we going to be in a place within the next 5 years where college football games are being played on Tuesday nights? Or Bake's head is like that little cartoon character for anger. On a Tuesday night, on a Thursday night, on a Monday night, on a Friday night.
Wait a minute. They already are. It's Maction, baby. Oh, you mean games that matter.
I mean, on the banks of the Olentangy, the Buckeyes hosting the Nittany Lions on a Thursday night prime time. You shake your head no, Reese. Don't be so sure. Don't be so sure.
I think it's coming, and Bo, that doesn't make me nearly as upset as 3 lost teams getting in a playoff. Like, if Ohio State plays on a Tuesday, no big deal. I do still, because of my love for high school sports and high school football and Friday nights. Like, I don't love them playing on a Friday night.
Sure.
But any other night of the week, you know, I don't care. And it's so interesting when you talk about this. Like, it used to be every Thursday night, like everybody watched ER because that's all you had to watch. You know, everybody watched Cheers and The Cosby Show and Friends and all of that because that's all there was. Now there is so much out there, and it costs a lot for NBC, CBS, whoever to make a primetime show. It's a lot cheaper for them to just cover sports, and they're going to get better ratings. So why not do it?
They did, to your point. They had a pair of FBS games yesterday, Kennesaw State and Florida International. Western Kentucky played La Tech. Mm-hmm. So they're encroaching on it. I do think they'll have, like, Big 12 smaller matchups. I don't ever see Ohio State. I guess I mean to say, like, I don't ever see a scenario where the Buckeyes are playing a game Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You probably would have said, too, though, Reese, like, you probably never thought you'd see a day when the NFL was playing on Christmas Day, no matter what day it was. They play NFL on a Tuesday now. Play it on a Wednesday. Play it any day of the week now.
Probably never thought Ohio State would play 7 straight noon games either.
That one I could see, but
where the money is will dictate what you're willing to do. And, I mean, look what we're dealing with right now in college football in terms of trying to find money at major universities, trying to find money. If your television partners, and by the way, the Big Ten's television partners are who? Fox, NBC, CBS. They say, wait a second now. If we're getting $7 million at 3:30 for Buckeyes and Huskies, I wonder what we'd get on a Thursday night at 8 o'clock. What would that number look like? What'd that number look like on a Tuesday? How about Monday Night Football up against Monday Night Football? Football for everybody. mean, you got to remember, college football didn't fall completely on their face going head-to-head with the NFL last year in the playoff. Not completely. You don't need to do $20 million. You can do 7. You can do 6 in prime time. I think it's such a bold play that they did to go the doubleheader too, to go 10 o'clock on a tip. For
I
the
didn't
second
think
one.
it mattered who was in that window. Like they didn't just put a Western, like any Western Conference team, like the Sacramento Kings aren't playing game 1 of the NBA season as it returns to NBC. I think what the Peacock thought was they were getting LeBron James and Luka Doncic against Jimmy Butler the third. I just found out last night, and Steph Curry and that Golden State Warriors squad. And they said that's a big enough matchup on a Tuesday night to throw on NBC. And we're going to, as the lead-in, give you the defending champs and Kevin Durant's debut against the Houston Rockets. Like, all of that made for a no-brainer. This wasn't something that was, other. I mean, I guess maybe Wembanyama would have been another idea if you're going to do that. I think it's Dallas and San Antonio tonight, but for what they did, that made the most sense in the world.
But isn't this an every week thing? These doubleheaders?
I don't know if they're doing the doubleheaders on NBC every week, but that would be ambitious.
Yeah. I mean, this is a bold new play for the NBA and their television partners. It's bold. And they were pretty smart to start it the way that they did. Who knows what it was an awesome night because I had this and then I had the Jackets playing their best game of the year. So I had both of these things going on at the same time, and it was pure joy for me bouncing back and forth between both of them. But I had them both on both TVs all night.
Bo, it's interesting. Loyal listener Phil in the YouTube chat said that he doesn't think that channels, programs, and announcers hold the same weight with the younger crowd as they do the unks, and that's probably true because there are so many different things. I would just say wait till you're in your 40s or your 50s and you hear something that you haven't heard in 15, 20 years and have that take you back to where you were then. Like you talk about, you hear Round Ball Rock and you think of Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Like I hear Round Ball Rock and I hear Bob Costas and Mike Fratello and I think of Jordan's Bulls. I think of the Bad Boy Pistons. I think of the
Knicks.
I think of the NBA championship between the Rockets and the Knicks that gets interrupted by the OJ chase.
Right.
And then I think of like how much I loved the NBA back then, and I think of the Charlotte Hornets, and I think of NBA Inside Stuff that I had to watch every Saturday morning. So I get it's different. There's more things, and not everybody. Like back, I think everybody our age, Bo, probably gets those same feelings for Round Ball Rock when you hear it because everybody had to watch it back then. But there are things that are going to be like that for this generation. They just don't realize it yet.
For sure. And there's other things that are going to become extinct and you're not going to talk about anymore. And that's just the way that it goes as time marches on. But to me, that felt like a successful night for the NBA. It was a successful night for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I thought it was their best performance by far of the season. A desperate team down in Dallas. We will get to that and the rest of the sports. Some of the games from last night as well. We're loaded up here on a First Friday Miracle Edition. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Make your Halloween a good deal spookier at Meijer with frighteningly good low prices. Get 25% off costumes for you and your little creatures. Select varieties of Halloween candy are buy one, get one 50% off. And beautifully crisp 3-pound bags of Honeycrisp apples or half gallons of fresh from Meijer apple cider are buy one, get one for just $1. The selection and savings at Meijer are enough to make you go wonderfully batty. You see what I did there, batty? Halloween at Meijer. Always a ghoulishly good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Hear those leaves crunching under your feet? Feel that cool nighttime air? It's definitely fall in Ohio. Fall is the perfect time to have the Waterworks Heating and Cooling inspect and tune up your furnace before the cold winter months hit. Just $89 to inspect and protect your family against those wintertime furnace breakdowns. Call 614-232-2222 or visit thewaterworks.com today to schedule your $89 fall furnace inspection and tune-up. Winter is just days away.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain for Toyota West. And with over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles available, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're looking for. And right now at Toyota West, take advantage of 0 down and 0 payments until 2026. And every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty for qualified vehicles. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. Offer expires 10/31. No payments for deferred payment. Interest accrues at time of inception with approved credit.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you're a sports card fan like me, you've got to check out Midwest Cards in the Arena District, right outside Nationwide Arena. These guys are true collectors themselves, and they've built a shop that lets you experience card collecting in a whole new way. They've got sealed boxes, packs, single cards, signed memorabilia, and plenty of TVs in their lounge. Yeah, they have a lounge. And don't forget the card bar, where you can open packs while you have an adult beverage. It's awesome. Stop by Midwest Cards today and tell them T-Bone sent you. Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. Columbus, October is here, and with good weather comes more home improvement projects. Do you have old, stuck, or cracked windows that you've been putting off replacing? Well, Window Nation Columbus can help. This month, when you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 more for free. There's no limit to how many windows you replace, and your total price includes 1-day installation. With Window Nation, you also won't have to make any payments for 2 years, which is a big deal with the holiday season coming up. And did I mention you could celebrate your newly upgraded home with 2 free tickets to an upcoming Ohio State football game? What other company in Columbus would thank you for replacing all your windows in your home with a fun experience like that? Put an end to your window problems before this beautiful fall weather ends. Now through October 31st, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free now, plus pay nothing for 2 years with Window Nation, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Visit windownation.com today to start your free estimate. That's windownation.com.
It's Thursday Night Football on the Fan. Catch the Vikings and Chargers live from Jim Harbaugh's House of Sin. Fan coverage starts Thursday at 8.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, The Fan.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun, your way. That means you pick your wager. Will it be $1, $2, a crisp $20? Your call. Like picking your own numbers, use any inspiration you like. Birthdays, jersey numbers, you name it. And if you don't feel like choosing, there's the Super Quick Auto Pick. With regular promotions that'll get you more bang for your Keno buck, multiple ways to win, prizes galore, and live draws every few minutes. Anytime is the right time to get in on the Keno action. Keno is always fun, your way. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
October is National Higher Education Month, and we are coming together to celebrate Ohio's excellent colleges and universities. Our campuses must be welcoming spaces for all learners to reach their full potential and grow as critical thinkers and future leaders. We must stand together to stand up for higher education in Ohio.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy to cloudy skies today and significantly colder. Extra layers will be needed, as with breezy winds, we could have our feels like in the 40s, although the air temperature will be in the mid to low 50s. For tonight, becoming partly cloudy overnight with our lows in the mid to upper 30s to low 40s and still breezy winds. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny, but it'll feel cooler with breezy winds and highs only getting in the mid to upper 50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garofalo with a 10 weather impact forecast.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
So I guess the next part of this is, for all of the nostalgia and the big play that they're attempting to do with the NBA, did it work? You won't know until probably the end of the season. It's probably going to be something that you're just going to have to get used to over years. You're going to want a good number on a Tuesday night with the opener with those teams that were involved. But for just our own experiences with it, how did you guys take in the sports last night, if at all?
So Blue Jackets were on main screen, and then it was Thunder Rockets on my computer. Okay. And it was cool at first, like just to kind of peek over and see what NBC was doing. Mm-hmm. And so I turned the Jackets volume down and turned NBC up for the presentation of the NBA on NBC and how they went from like the small box to the big box. And the AI at the beginning, I'm trying to remember the name, Jim Fagan, where it was like
The Voice.
NBA on NBC, and I was like, that's weird because he's no longer with us. Like, I don't know, we need to go that far into the nostalgia trip, but that whole thing, and then what OKC did, hanging the banner, and that was pretty cool.
I'm a sucker for hanging banners.
Yep, it wins.
I love it, man. I love seeing it go up. I live the rings and all of it. I'm a sucker for all of that. Bake, how much did they get you at all last night?
Bo, one more thing, the nostalgia, because we just talked about the AI Jim Fagan there.
Yeah.
The old Chicago Bulls entrance. That's something it takes me back to, too. That was undefeated. I don't know if it'll ever be better than that.
Well, the Cavs had a pretty good one with Ahmad, who now does the Buckeye game, in those, with the from St. Vincent St. Mary High School in Akron, Ohio, LeBron James. Like, that one is pretty dang good. So they can't do that anymore because all of the teams have these elaborate, 3-minute hype videos before starting lineups. So, the networks can't take them. That's the other thing that was so beautiful about this era is the Bulls were the first one to do that. As far as I know, lights out, Ray Clay, hit the music, go. The Lakers have had the same starting lineup forever. It's Lawrence Tannen, and he does the voice, and it's very straight and very the same. That goes all the way Magic Johnson, all the way through Kobe. I still think he's there with LeBron and Luka and everything. But the Bulls were the first ones that did that little presentation, lights out, music, all of that. Now, every one of them have a 3-minute hype video to classical music before they get to the lineup, so you don't get to see it as much, which stinks.
Yeah, they were definitely cutting edge on that, though. Yeah. I was locked in 1,000% to the Jackets, and I think that's no surprise to anyone. The whole nostalgia is also a little sad to me, because growing up, basketball was my number one thing. I love Buckeye basketball. Those were my favorite teams. And I loved the NBA. I was a Magic Johnson fan. And then when the Charlotte Hornets came around, I was a big-time Charlotte Hornets fan. I have lost all of my NBA fandom. I don't even enjoy watching the NBA anymore until probably the postseason. Then the postseason, I can get into it a little bit. But I did not pay attention to any of the NBA. Whole focus on the Jackets last night.
Do you think that is a factor of the Blue Jackets being here in town, or the product that the NBA has put out over the last 20 years?
I think it's definitely more the product that the NBA has put out in basketball. And like I said, I was a Charlotte Hornets fan, and then they went away, and I was like, I just don't really care anymore. And I loved late 80s, 90s basketball. It was so good. It was just different. It was so physical, so competitive, and with that generation, when that generation went out, I kind of lost it. And then about that same time, I was graduating high school. I started playing softball a lot. The Blue Jackets came around, and there was just too many things taking me away from it.
Yeah, you get pulled, right? Reese, what's your relationship? You still watch every Cavs game, don't you?
Yeah.
Or most?
Most, if not all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that the NBA's back with this. That it means it pulls them a little way from the RSNs. The Round Ball Rock, my first memory was 97. Was it United Center, and did Salt Lake, or did Utah, I should say, play at the Delta Center?
Delta Center.
They were both airlines. Arenas, but the opening shots of those cities was gorgeous. And what NBC and what Peacock did, and I was watching these on Peacock, and at commercial breaks sometimes when they just wouldn't have any spots playing, they would have the wide shots of the cities. You could see downtown Phoenix in their arena. You could see downtown San Antonio in its arena. And all of that's a huge nostalgia hit for me, because it was kind of the first, as 7-year-old Eric of wow, this country's cool.
Yeah.
And because NBC did so much to make it a big deal. Watching last night, I was thrilled that NBA or NBC cares so much about the NBA, because last year with ESPN, the NBA Finals, they did not make a big deal at all.
No, I still think when you see things, we see this when you get a Buckeye game on CBS, just their production quality is so extreme, and NBC has similar. Those two.
This is the biggest deal. You need to be watching this. It's such a far cry from ESPN.
It feels like they shoot every game like it's the Super Bowl. Both of those, college football and in the NBA last night. This was the Jackets' best game of the year. I was pulled more. So I watched the NBA stuff for the beginning to see how they did it, the presentation, all of that. And then I kind of lost interest in that game. I'm not don't care much for OKC or Houston. It doesn't really matter to me. And I wasn't going to stay up to watch Lakers after that. So, and the Warriors. So I was locked into the Jackets because as we talked yesterday with Jody, this was a Dallas Stars team that had lost 2 games. It was returning home. The Jackets felt they maybe found something in that line change they made before the games at the end of last week, and it certainly looks like they did. And then I was just curious, how are the special teams going to play? What are those going to look like? Quite good. Quite good. This is the best this team has played all season. It's early, but this was the signature game. This was a desperate Dallas team in need of a win, and the Jackets went down there and handled business in a big, big way.
It was impressive because they got off to a nice start, and then the Stars pushed, and the ice kind of tilted, and you weathered the storm. And part of that is due in part to the stellar play of Elvis Merzlikins. He's been phenomenal this year. And last night was even different because usually when Elvis is in net, for whatever reason, things look scrambly. It did not look like that. It looked like Jet Greaves was in net last night. Like everything was calm, and it's just the different styles of both of them, right? But Elvis was spectacular. And then they went out and they finished the right way there. And it's kind of interesting, Bo. And listen, you and I think we were talking to Jody or Porty, I'm not sure, before the season. And you and I kind of had a moment on our screens here where we look at each other, where we both kind of rolled our eyes when we were talking about the opening lines. It's kind of interesting that you've put Kent Johnson and Adam Fantilli back together and things are happening. Like it just makes sense, right? Some guys, through no fault of their own, are third line guys, and some guys are top end talents, and both of those guys are top end talents. And sure, I know you don't want to be complacent, and you want to make sure that you're getting maximum effort, but put those guys together and things happen.
Yeah. It was. That was a fun one last night, and I think the Merzlikins part is really important because obviously his talent is pretty extreme. When he's got it humming and he's locked in, it's about as good as can be. He actually tied Steve Mason for number 2 on the franchise wins list, just behind goalie Bob. He got his 96th career win last night in the game. Elvis post-game available. This job share with Jet Greaves, it's working so far. Here's Elvis.
Yeah, of course. He's doing a great job. I think I'm doing pretty good too. So it's good, I think, for a team to have 2 good goalies. And I let him rest and he lets me rest, right? I'm a bit older than he is, but that's good, and just want to keep going in some way.
The Dallas Stars punched them in the mouth in the second, and then they got up off the mat in the third and finished. And that's what good teams do. So it's one game. It's October. You got a ton more to play, but those are things I look for with this team because that's a desperate Stars team last night that wants to end things at home, and they sleptwalked through the first, but they were fully engaged in the second, and then you have that response of the third. That's a good job.
And the other thing, Bo, perfect on the special teams last night. You were 2 for 2 on the power play, 2 for 2 on the kill. I mean, the Jackets are near the top of the league in the least amount of goals allowed 5-on-5 this year. You can shore up that penalty kill, especially get you a couple goals on the power play to help you out, then you're cooking.
Yeah, certainly were. Jackets pretty close to perfect last night. The Ohio State Buckeyes have been perfect all season, but Ryan Day wants a little bit more. We'll get into that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Dormar, your pilot hero.
Treat yourself to a new ride from Coughlin Kia, Central Ohio's largest volume Kia dealer. Get 0% on a new 25 Kia EV6 or 26 EV9, or get up to $11,000 off MSRP. Get 1.9% on a new 25 Telluride during the Kia Fall Sales Event. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
Based on 2024 retail sales, 0% for 60 months and 1.9% for 48 months equals $1,667 and $2,165 for 1,000 finance through Kia Motor Finance. Not all will qualify. Manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. Ends 10/31/25.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment?
On any 4-tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $200 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyears and save up to $200 more. See store for details.
Hey friends, Beamer here. In the spirit of Halloween, Awaken 180 is offering free consultations. Learn how scary fast and how scary easy losing weight can be. For mine, I brought all the questions, and in the end, Awaken 180 was an absolute no-brainer for me. Determine if Awaken 180 is right for you. The free consultations end October 31st. Reserve by phone only at 844-346-1800. For details and the number, visit awaken180weightloss.com. Scary easy with scary fast results.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
Dormar, your climate hero. When your furnace or air conditioner is broke, we come out that same day. Dormar, home the Tin Man.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? Sup with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Here's what's up on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Buckeyes in the middle of their bye week. Players, I'm assuming, going to use some work here in the middle of the week and a little bit of a downturn. But at the same time, when you are perfect and you are chasing perfection, there's a relentlessness that comes with that. And I do think that is something that is going to be very interesting to watch this year and as this season goes along for this Ohio State football team, which will, I guess, technically won't start their second half of the season if you play for a national championship. And at this point, we're just assuming that they will, which is crazy, until after the Penn State game. You're going to have 8 more games to go after that if you're going to win a national championship. But this notion of chasing perfection, is that something that in this day and age in college football that a program even ought to attempt to do? Is it something more similar to an NFL perspective where take a lump here or there, just get in the dance and get hot at the right time in a way that you go? I think this is something there's going to be an evolution to in how college football coaches coach. Because when you're talking about a season this long, in the old days, you had to be perfect every week because that was the only way to guarantee you could play for a national title. Now you don't. You don't have to be perfect every week. You can slow play this thing. You can build. You can take a loss. Oregon is no worse off having lost to Indiana than they were if they would have beaten Indiana. Doesn't change anything for them. They're still right in the middle of this thing. All those SEC teams with losses. Alabama lost their first game of the year to Florida State, who's terrible. And where is Bama ranked? 5th? Somewhere in there? Like, you can flip this thing very quickly unless you have something bigger in mind. And my hunch is this is what Ryan Day and Ohio State has in mind. I think Ohio State's chasing perfection this year. I think they're trying to do something that hasn't been done. I think they're trying to go 16-0. I think they're trying to win every week. And I think they're trying to repeat as national champions, something that's never been done here and has been done very rarely ever. To me, that's what this feels like, that the opportunity is there. Some of the things that have happened with the schedule allow for it. Penn State isn't the robust test that you thought it was going to be when the schedule came out. Certainly that game in Ann Arbor is going to have your full attention. Certainly the Big Ten Championships game is going to have your full attention, but you're not going to – the amount of emphasis that are going to be on those games, that sells itself. It's everything else week in, week out to keep that edge sharp to chase the ultimate prize of history. And that's really what I think Ohio State is after a little bit here. Ryan Day was available yesterday, as he typically is, and the challenge this week is giving everybody a little bit of rest, but also keeping that edge sharp.
Some guys need to heal. Some guys need reps. Some guys need more fundamental work. Everybody's a little bit different, but I think it is good, for us on, Sunday and on Monday to get away. Don't think about football for a little while. Come back, regroup, put Saturday's game to bed, and then we have some really good practices this week on what we need to get done. So we know during the bye week is a good opportunity to take a step back. We always try to stay focused on the week at hand. this is a good time to take a step back and realize that we need to get certain things fixed, address some things, and then take a picture at the run that we're about to make and what we need to get done during the run, because once Sunday hits, it's right on to Penn State.
Should a college football team in this position chase perfection?
In this position, you mean Ohio State? Yes.
That's right.
I think for historic purposes, yes, you chase that perfect record. You exercise that demon in Michigan. But any other college football program, I think you chase perfection in what you do every day. I don't think you chase perfection from a record standpoint. And I think if Ohio State is whatever happens at the end of this season, so long as you've beaten Michigan, I think the chasing a perfect record becomes less and less. I think for right now, in the window that you are in for Ryan Day and this football team, yes, you chase perfection from the record standpoint to do everything that you had said. Because that does include, obviously, you exercise Michigan, you go to Indianapolis for the first time in what feels like a long time, you win the Big Ten championship the first time in a long time, you get a first-round bye in the college football playoff, and then you repeat as national champions. You complete all of that history is incredible coming out. Like the incredible what I just said for Ohio State to do, it would be nuts. But I think that is what they are chasing right now in this moment.
I mean, Herm Edwards said it, right? You play to win the game.
Sure.
I think you should chase perfection. But in this day and age, I don't think you should fear a loss. And in fact, sometimes we all know a loss can be more beneficial if you handle it the right way and look at it the right way than a win sometimes, because you can find your mistakes and you can correct them. Winning a lot of times masks imperfections. I also think it may be different depending on the team. Could every team have handled what this Ohio State team did last year? Maybe not, but you have a veteran group, a really solid core of good leaders that have been there before. And I think, and you kind of heard it a little bit with Bill Rabinowitz's reporting, like I think a lot of that run that Ohio State went on was due to the leadership of those players and the fact that they stood up and said, hey, enough is enough. So I don't know if every team can handle it that way, but I do believe you should chase perfection, but not fear if you don't get it.
I like the way you phrase that. You mentioned the Herm Edwards line, you play to win the game, right? I mean, that's the line. Bill Belichick never said the line. He never said it. But in New England, it was well known that what they were worried about was everything after Thanksgiving. That's what they were worried about, was after Thanksgiving, that's when we need to be at our best. And the one year that they chased perfection, they came up short in the Super Bowl. Won every game except for the Super Bowl, thanks to David Tyree and catching it on his head. But the reality, I think, is I think you both have it. I think you chase perfection when perfection kind of falls in your lap. This team is so much better than I think most people thought it would be sooner. I think most people thought that there was a chance that this team, because you know what happens in recruiting, you know what happened, how they were, again, very pointed in the portal and got kind of the things that they needed, but also you knew the recruiting. And you knew that you knew what Julian Saint's pedigree was. You knew what that defensive pedigree was. You just had to see it come together. So it's come together quicker than I think anybody nationally thought, and quite honestly, even faster than some of us locally probably thought. They're better faster, certainly defensively. I mean, this is historically defensively. So I think what happens is once you're better quicker than most people think, then it's like almost, well, if we haven't lost yet, what's the point in that now? Like now that you're in it, it's like go chase it.
Yeah, I wonder if like in 2002 they realized what they had and like, oh, perfection, let's go get that.
I don't think so. You'd have to talk to, Wilhelm and Krenzel and those guys that were on that team that were in the middle of it. My hunch is that in that day and age, and you have to remember, like if you go look at like 2002, so many of those games, it was just like survive in advance, survive in advance, survive in advance. And
all about survival.
All of it, almost.
That's all it was.
Season.
And then you wake up and you're 12-0 after beating Michigan. You go, my God, okay, I guess we're going to play for a national championship. It's really not like that anymore around here. Now there's this, and I think Urban changed that, where, for Tress, it was all that mattered was beating Michigan. And then if good things came after that, so be it. Beat Michigan, win the Big Ten. That was the marching orders. Then Urban, it became beat Michigan, win the Big Ten, win the national championship. And for Ryan now, it's like win the national championship every year. I mean, it's a crazy thing to try to live up to, and it's never been more difficult to do it. And so I think you can now see a big picture different than you did 20 years ago.
Well, and that's because college football has changed, right?
Completely.
You couldn't get that final thing without beating Michigan. You couldn't win the Big Ten championship without beating Michigan. You couldn't play for a national championship. Well, you didn't even play for it then, no. I guess. For the longest time, it was just voted on, going to the Rose Bowl and then hoping you got voted for a national championship. And then the BCS came around and whatnot. So when the rules change, I guess we have to change our thinking about everything, too.
Yeah, this will be, I think the challenge for Ryan is, how do you keep that edge sharp, but don't make it so sharp that it becomes breakable? That's the challenge every week, is to do that and to build and to get better and better. And I think he's done a masterclass of it to this point. You see it offensively, unlocking a little more every week. Last week was different than any other game that we'd seen, where they threw it to run it. I said, the hell with it. We got the best quarterback in the country. We got the best receivers in the country. We have a really good offensive line. We're just going to spin it. And Wisconsin, we dare you to keep up. But in this year in college football, the Buckeyes feel like one of one. Coming up next, we'll take a look at a soft college football weekend that is littered with potholes for teams that are already flawed. We'll get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big Voice Guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
You've heard about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Yeah, that's an old one. My dad told that one to me. But when it's your real feet, it's not a game. It's awful. Hey, it's Anthony. I had pain in my feet and my lower back, so I went to the Good Feet store and got the support I needed in my shoes that changed the game for me. I went in and they personally fit me for arch supports that would be perfect for my feet. The fitting process is simple. They ask the right questions about exactly what I was experiencing and the lifestyle I want to be able to live. They professionally measured my feet and arch size, and before I knew it, I was wearing my new arch supports home. Get back to living the life you love with the Good Feet store. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put into all of my shoes. Get professionally fitted at the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway or Stringtown Road in Grove City. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member. They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Newman Roofing, as part of its 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to recognize individuals who have made an impact for people of all abilities. This week, we would like to honor Caitlin Brown. Caitlin has made an impact by creating the Handy Capable Kitchen, which raises money for Toys for Tots through her local Chili Fest. This Down Syndrome Awareness Month, Newman Roofing is proud to join forces with 10 TV and The Fan in celebrating our ongoing commitment to the community.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone here for Window Nation. We have had some good weather over this fall. It's been mostly warm, but sooner or later, it's going to get cold. Maybe you're already starting to feel it in your house because your old drafty windows are letting in that air. Could be the builder grade windows that just came with your house. You thought you were getting great windows. Turns out they weren't as good as you thought. That's where Window Nation can help. This month, you can buy 2 windows and you'll get 2 more for free. There is no limit to how many windows you replace. Plus, your total price includes 1-day installation. Window Nation also has a deal where you don't have to make any payments for 2 years. Is that going to help out with your holiday bills a little bit? I would think so. And above and beyond all that, Window Nation also is giving away tickets to an Ohio State football game when you upgrade your home with Window Nation windows. Free windows, 0 payments for 2 years, all with Window Nation. Go to windownation.com. The estimate is free, the windows are great, and you can get Ohio State tickets. What's not to love? Go to windownation.com today. Once again, that's windownation.com.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Did you know Byers Airport Subaru is the oldest Subaru retailer in the entire country? And just like a veteran quarterback, we've been delivering winning drives for generations, right here by the airport. Right now, trade in your car for a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 0% for up to 36 months. Kick off your next adventure at ColumbusSubaru.com. Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 36 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 10/31/25.
The football season now stretches from August to late January, and we can't afford not to be at our very best all season. Hey guys, it's Eric Reeser, and if you're like me, looking at the calendar wondering how you're going to stay at 100% for the next 5 months, do what I did. Go see my friends at Hydrate Me Med Spa. I went to their Grandview location, got hooked up with a fast vitamin push that's got me feeling better than I have in years, and the NAD Plus has me thinking better too. From IV to aesthetic treatments, look great, feel great at Hydrate Me Med Spa. 4 locations, Grandview, Granville, New Albany, and Dublin. Book your appointment at hydratememedspa.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. We're proudly sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Buckeye Jewelry starting at just $99. Easton Sawmill. Check them out. Tell them both sent you. They'll take care of you, kids. This is what kind of gets all the synapses firing when it comes to the Buckeyes and their approach. If you look at college football this weekend and you're thinking we're getting closer to a college football playoff committee giving you their rankings, I'm very curious to know how they're going to handle some of these teams. The amount of teams that you would consider playoff worthy or deserving. Folks, there are 5 Power 4 teams that are undefeated. 5 of them. Navy's undefeated. For whatever reason, they're not ranked, but they're undefeated. Everybody else in the top 25 has losses, and in many instances, multiple losses. Your 5 undefeated teams are Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Georgia Tech, and BYU. That's the list. So if you are in that committee and you're watching college football this weekend, which my guess is they're not doing, but if you are, and you're looking at Ole Miss and Oklahoma, is that an elimination game? 6-1, 6-1. Both one loss in the SEC. That's a game in Norman at noon. Ole Miss was at Georgia last week. Now you got to go to Norman and play against that Oklahoma team. If you are in that committee room and you're looking at 15th ranked Missouri at 6-1 against 10th ranked BYU at Vanderbilt at 6-1, is that an elimination game? How about Illinois and Washington, both 5-2? Certainly the loser there is cooked. But the winner there can stay alive for another week. There's more. How about Texas A&M and LSU? LSU already has 2 losses. Like, you rarely hear about Brian Kelly on any type of hot seat. But now Texas, and for Texas A&M, it's kind of their last, they're at Missouri next week. So depending on what you think of Missouri, they're at LSU, at Missouri the next 2 weeks. After that, it's South Carolina, Samford, and at Texas. They are not losing to Texas. I don't know if you've seen Texas play since they played Ohio State. Ohio State maybe broke them. They're a shell of themselves. Texas A&M's got a chance to go undefeated this year if they can win the next 2 against LSU and Missouri, because they don't have anything else beyond it. So how is that committee, which this will be 2 weeks, Reese? Do I have that right?
Yeah, 2 weeks from yesterday will be the first reveal.
Yeah, so we'll be doing it on high or low or 2 weeks from right now. How are they going to handle all of these teams from the biggest power conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, with multiple losses. Because right now the AP and the coaches poll is giving the SEC an incredible benefit of the doubt. Incredible. I believe there's 10 SEC teams ranked currently this week in the AP.
Yeah, I do think we are careening towards a week 1 college football playoff reveal that focuses on best losses.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, is what this screams. Not necessarily who's got the best wins in the league, but in the SEC or in the Big Ten or in the ACC, but whose losses are better than whose. And then you kind of go from there.
There are 10 SEC teams ranked in the top 25. 10 of them. You want benefit of the doubt? That's as big as can be. And I think Reese is right. This is going to be a quality loss conversation.
Because Ole Miss, for me, like, that's going to be, I think, the biggest culprit in this. When I say culprit, I mean who's going to have that. Well, they've got some pretty good wins against LSU. Okay, that's the list. But then their loss isn't that bad because it's at Georgia and it's only a touchdown. That's not so bad.
No.
That's a good loss relative to other losses in the country. Like, that's what Ward's going to do.
And for them, if they lose this week at Oklahoma, they could still win out because they have South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, and Mississippi State. They'll be favored in all of those games. So even if they lose, 10-2 for them probably gets them in. I do think there's a very good chance, Bake, that your worst nightmare is going to come true, and you're going to have a 3-loss team in this playoff. I don't know how you're not going to have one, honestly.
Bo, I think we might have multiples.
Yeah, me too.
The way this is going and the way this could all play out. And listen, I guess, Reese, as you were talking there and you're saying this is going to come down to best losses, well, I guess we've kind of made it that way with the system we've chosen to have.
Well, and you guys saw this. You hear what the Big Ten's trying to do. Petiti and the boys. Dellinger had this reporting yesterday that they're still floating that absurd 20-some team playoff with 4 automatic bids. I mean, that's coming.
Do we get a more ridiculous college football playoff expansion idea than that as we get closer to December 1st? Like, do they come out with us with a 64-team college football playoff on, like, November 30th? Just to be like, it could be like this. Let's get it. Because December 1st, I know Ross told us when we were at camp that it's like a floating date on when they got to have the agreement towards college football expansion in 2026. But do we get anything more ridiculous than 24?
The thing is that's going to be, I mean, they're going to throw up a lead balloon like that so that what they're going to do is more palpable for everybody. The problem that they're always going to have, even with a 20, like this ridiculous 20-plus team, is if there's that many teams that are worthy. All of this is just generating more money because they can't pay their bills. That's all it is. So what the private equity stuff is. That's what an 80-team college basketball tournament is. That's what a 28-team college football playoff is. It's we need more money, and we're not going to pay ourselves less, so we need to bring more in, and we got to find some money somewhere. So that's all any of it is about. But it is going to, and it marries to the topic we were just talking about in regard to Ohio State and this chase of perfection. Like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Oregon last year was perfect. What was their reward for perfect?
Ohio State.
In the flippin' Rose Bowl. You're Dan Lanning. You go, wait a second. We did everything right. We beat these guys already. Then we won the Big Ten championship against another team that's in the playoff. And now you're telling me my reward for all that is I got to play the Buckeyes again? That's my reward?
Good season, Ducks.
Blank that. How's that right? Which one would you rather be? Oregon last year or Ohio State?
Well, knowing what you know now, but
right.
I think you'd rather, yeah.
But that's the challenge that I think you're up against. You're running one of these programs is you have to have somebody to tell you. You have to decide what's going to be important for you and how you're going to coach your team. Because to hold them to a Michigan week standard, and I'm not saying that's what's happening, but to hold any program to that standard for 16 weeks, that is a lot of pressure to not crack under. And is it even all worth it? It's something that perhaps we'll find out this year. Second hour of the program coming up next. Jake Trotter joining us at 10:30. We'll do a little higher or lower coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip.
And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show.
Rock Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
A government shutdown affects everybody. It means missed paychecks for our troops. It means delays for critical services for ordinary Americans. And it disrupts the world. For 927-6902 or visit carey.house.gov. Paid for with official funds from the office of Mike Carey.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain for Toyota West. And with over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles available, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're looking for. And right now at Toyota West, take advantage of 0 down and 0 payments until 2026. And every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty for qualified vehicles. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. Offer expires 10/31. No payments for deferred payment. Interest accrues at time of inception with approved credit.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
College is great. You know what else is great? Pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of the Ohio State University. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Busy schedule? This is Ryan Krieger, and Krieger Ford has you covered. Krieger Ford offers pickup and delivery, or our mobile service van will come right to you. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
Timmy Hall and AI Common Man here for Hollywood Casino Columbus and the ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
This ain't one of them, Timmy.
It's not the show, it's a spot. All October, we're watching our football team on Saturdays and the tailgate buffet.
Ooh, Mikey likey. Plus, they've got the 3 apps for $12 deal, and you can beat the crowds and reserve a table.
Yes, do that at HollywoodColumbus.com. And we got a special offer this month. Become a new member of our rewards program on the ESPN Penn Play app and get a $20 dining credit.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Get ready because the Clayton Homes Red Tag Sale is officially here, and it's the best time of the year to buy your dream home. For a limited time, they're slashing prices, offering you the chance to save thousands on select in-stock homes. These are move-in ready homes with unbelievable markdowns, but only while supplies last. These homes are designed with energy efficiency in mind. You'll stay warm and cozy this winter and comfortable year-round. Lower energy bills, better indoor comfort. Yes, please. So whether you're looking for more space, your first home, home or just a great deal, now's the time to make it happen. But don't wait. These homes are priced to move, and when they're gone, they're gone. Visit your local Clayton Homes to find out which homes are part of the sale and lock in your savings today. The Red Tag Sale, going on now at Clayton Homes locations and online at theredtagsale.com. Terms and conditions for the Red Tag Sales event at redtagsale.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through 12/31. Amounts of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Blue Jackets did Dallas dirty last night, scoring 5 goals on the Stars en route to a 5-1 victory. It's their second straight win. CBJ scored twice on the power play and killed both power play chances for the Stars, who dropped their third straight. Columbus is back on home ice Friday versus Washington. In the NBA last night, the regular season tipped off in Oklahoma City. The Thunder beat the Rockets 125-124 in double OT. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sank a pair of 3 throws to push the Thunder past Kevin Durant and the new-look Rockets. The other NBA game last night saw the Warriors beat the Lakers 119-109. LeBron James missed his first season opener in his 23 seasons. On the court tonight, the Cavaliers open the season at the New York Knicks. Tip-off from Madison Square Garden is 7 p.m. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates lower than the national average, plus a special rate on balance transfers with a Visa Platinum or Visa with Rewards credit card.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a First Friday. Still time to get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971-BFS. We'll also take them in the YouTube chat as well. Jake Trotter coming up in 29 minutes. Time now for a little higher lower. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present Higher or Lower.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222 or visit online at thewaterworks.com.
Week 9 of the college football season has us looking at the AP Top 25, where Ohio State, the number 1 team in the country, is getting 60 of 66 possible first-place votes. Those 6 voters think the Hoosiers of Indiana are the top team in the country, but they come in at number 2, followed by Texas A&M. Alabama is 4. Georgia is 5. Bulldogs jump up 4 spots this week. Higher or lower for Georgia at 5?
Georgia should be behind Oregon, in my view. How do I feel? I talked about this last week a little bit, and it's on me. I'll own this. If Indiana and Alabama, because that's the best example of the brand bias we have, if Indiana were playing Alabama on a neutral field, what would the line be?
You go tied in 6.5, maybe?
Yeah, I was giving Indiana, I think, a little more credit. I'd have Alabama like 4.5.
Somewhere in the Vegas zone. Yeah, and that's just brand bias, right? It's not what's happened on the field, because Indiana went to Oregon and won. So you could argue Indiana should be favored over Alabama. And I am in no mood of putting Alabama ahead of Indiana at all. I'm just saying this is the type of thing that Indiana has to struggle with at this point of where their program is the brand bias for guys like me who look at that, and then potentially how we would view it in Vegas. I think they have this right in terms of Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama as the 4, and I think the loss to Florida State is just going to end up being one of the more stupefying losses, although Alabama could lose again before this is all said and done. I think Oregon's better than Georgia, though. I do. I don't think Ole Miss played a lick of defense. Georgia doesn't play a lick of defense either. I think Oregon will play a little. I like Oregon. I might like Oregon more than Alabama, too, to be honest. I think Oregon should go up.
So I have OSU, Indiana, Bama, Oregon, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, then Georgia at 7. So I think we both agree Georgia should be lower.
Yeah.
We talked about Oregon at number 6. At number 7, at 7-0, Georgia Tech. 8's Ole Miss. 9, Miami. At 10, the 6-1 Vanderbilt Commodores. Higher or lower for Vandy at 10?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to read the Georgia Tech scores for you guys. They're 7-0. They beat Colorado 27-20, Gardner-Webb 59-12, Clemson 24-21, Temple 45-24, Wake Forest 30-29, Virginia Tech 35-20, Duke 27-18. They do not play another ranked team until Georgia at the end. They go Syracuse, NC State, Boston College, Pitt. I got news for you. Georgia Tech is going to play for an ACC championship, and it's very likely they're going to make the playoff. And they're going to probably do so even with a loss to Georgia, if they lose to Georgia, having beaten one ranked team, which is a pretty crazy thing. And this is what makes this sport still so bonkers, even with a 12-team playoff, is what am I supposed to do with Georgia Tech? Like, if Georgia Tech played Ole Miss, give me the Rebels. If Georgia Tech played Miami, give me the Canes. If they played Notre Dame, give me Notre Dame. If they played Oklahoma, give me the Sooners. Like, to me, they look like a paper tiger, yet they moved up 5 spots because what? They're undefeated, they keep winning, and they keep moving up. Like, where does that stop? Do they go all the way to 2 or 3 in the country despite having not any win of note? It's in play. You asked about Vandy. It's too big of a move. You can't go up 7 spots by beating LSU. There's the brand bias the other way. People think LSU is special because they see Burrow and Chase and Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry and Grant Delpit and everybody else. This ain't that LSU. That LSU team's no good, man. And they moved them 7 spots for beating them at home.
So I do think Vanderbilt's a little too high. I have them at 12 in my rankings. Bo, I think I disagree with you on Georgia Tech just a little bit. And I understand the schedule and whatnot. But we just talked about 2002 Ohio State, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes the only thing that matters is just winning your game, right? And I think the style that they play keeps games closer a lot of times. Like, I don't think Georgia Tech's going to get blown out by anybody, but they may not beat some teams that you'd think they would beat a little more. I think Georgia Tech versus Miami and Notre Dame is an interesting case study, and I've got them just ahead of both of those teams. I've got Georgia Tech at 8. I've got Miami at 9. I've got Notre Dame at 10. I think Georgia Tech beats Ole Miss, though, actually. I'm not... I have Ole Miss ranked 11 here, but I could be talked into moving them down a little bit. I'm not sure Ole Miss is a very good football team, even though they're sitting there with 1 loss.
Reese, let the record show that on October 22nd, Bake compared Georgia Tech to 2002 Ohio State. Just let the record show.
Just win your games. That's all I'm saying.
Just let the record show. Ohio State beat 4 ranked teams that year.
I understand.
So, yeah, slightly different. But no, I get your point. Survive in advance. But this is where you get into trouble. This is how you also ended up with kind of the playoff you had last year and trying to make sense of undefeated versus losses based on schedules that are played. And it's not their fault. They don't have SMU on the schedule this year. They don't have Miami on the schedule this year. So they're playing the teams that are on their schedule.
I was just looking as Baker was making a point about Ohio State and Georgia Tech. Virginia's making the ACC championship game.
Is it going to be Virginia against Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
Give it to me. Give me the Virginia schedule.
So the Cavaliers have North Carolina this Saturday. Then they play at Cal. Then Wake Forest, Duke, and they round the season out against Virginia Tech.
Oh, my gosh, they are.
Like, what? I mean, they put 46 on Florida State, so that credit should be given there, and they haven't dropped a game.
Guys.
But Miami might not be making the college football playoff here.
We got a big problem on our hands. If Georgia Tech gets to the ACC title game at 11-0 and Virginia gets there at 12-0 and Miami wins out and goes 11-1, are we going to have 3 ACC teams in this playoff?
No.
I
still don't believe that.
I don't know how you're not. If what I just said happens, and that seems very likely to me. I mean, is Miami losing? I mean, he's usually good for a crazy. Okay, well, they got the beloved Ponies in 2 weeks.
What a mess.
In Dallas. Then they got Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt.
Virginia.
If they get past the beloved Ponies, though,
Virginia's
they're going to be 11-1.
Loss on the season is at NC State week 2, but it wasn't an ACC game.
Right.
So it doesn't count against their conference standings, which is bonkers.
Yeah. And they're ranked that high. Where are they this week? Virginia, 16 or something?
Yeah.
17. 16.
They're 16th.
And they got a lot of juice for beating Florida State, which now doesn't mean anything. Wow.
For the Vanderbilt conversation, LSU plummeted 10 spots. The Tigers are in at 20. At 18, you've got South Florida at 6-1, 19 Louisville. Just talked about LSU. At 21 is Cincinnati. At 22 is Texas. At 23, Illinois. Higher or lower for the Illini at 23?
No, I'm fine with Illinois being where they're at. I do think USC should be ranked. I think they proved that Saturday in a really tough loss at Notre Dame. The team that shouldn't be ranked on this list is Texas at 22. Like, just watch them play. Watch them play. They're a shadow of what they were when we beat them. Their one win of note is a win against Oklahoma, as to me they forced Mateer back a little too soon. Otherwise, maybe that goes a different way. But if USC plays Texas right now, give me SC all day long. All day long.
So the question was, Illinois correct at 23, and I believe I do have Illinois up a few spots higher. Yeah, I have them at 21. I actually have a run of Big Ten teams right there. I have Illinois at 21, USC at 22, and then Michigan at 23. So all of them right there in a little grouping.
I'll just tell you this. You mentioned Michigan. They're getting better. And they just got bombed by USC. So it really comes down to, can they dictate the game to the opponent? They dictated the game to Washington last week, and then they were able to get the win. When you play that game in a little more than a month, it is critical that you start fast and make them chase. Because if you do, it could be a very, very long day for them. But you don't want them to dictate the style of this game. I can't believe I'm doing a Michigan chat already.
Yeah, it definitely seems
never too early.
It seems like if you can get over 20 points in that game, you're fine. Like with this defense, I mean, I know that's not saying much because this defense has been so good, but Michigan does have some struggles on offense as they are getting better. If you're Ohio State, you get in that 20-point range, I think you're definitely okay in that one.
Yeah. That's a fascinating look at how they view teams. Like LSU still being ranked based on, I guess you're going to give them credit for beating Clemson in week 1 still. LSU, by the way, they've got 2 losses already. They get Texas A&M this weekend at home. Then they're at Bama. That's the next 2 weeks for them, for the Bayou Bengals, which begs the question, can Brian Kelly survive all of this? And are we seeing a trend in firing coaches sooner rather than later? And is it all tied to NIL? One legend of the sport says yes. We'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
College football is more chaotic than ever. New rivals, new rules, and a brand new season of Fansville. Are you fan enough to handle the drama? Then grab an ice-cold Dr. Pepper from your local Kroger and buckle up for the season. College football. It's a pepper thing. College football fans, listen up. You can catch Carnell Tate and Dr. Pepper on November 17th. We'll be at the new Kroger at 7525 Gardwell Street in Powell from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Stop by to get your photo with Carnell Tate. See you there.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment
on any 4 tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $200 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyear's and save up to $200 more.
See
store for details.
Football season's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota. Right now, drive home a rugged 2025 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% APR for up to 48 months, or go big with the all-new 2026 Toyota Tundra, also 2.99 APR for up to 72 months. Built tough, built smart, built for whatever your game day brings. Find your next Toyota at Germain Toyota at the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or start your next adventure online at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota of Columbus. See dealer for details.
Are you tired of running out of space? Check out Menard's Self-Storage Facility. Menard's Self-Storage offers the most convenient and secure self-storage in the area. Options include features like 24/7 access, video surveillance, and on-site management. Menard's has warehouse units at the best prices in the area, and your first month is free. They're going quickly, so reserve yours now at menardsselfstorage.com. Unit and offer details may vary by facility.
Save big money at Menards.
Your car needs a new battery. That'll be $19,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a second opinion.
You wouldn't accept that quote, so why accept this one from that other company?
$19,000 for a new sewer line.
I'm going to call the waterworks instead.
Facing an expensive sewer repair? If another company's quote is way more than expected, call the Waterworks for a second opinion. We have the most experienced drain techs in Central Ohio. Call 614-232-2222.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
One of the biggest reasons people get new windows, Wilson, is that old windows make for an uncomfortable house with crazy high roller coaster energy bills.
Leslie, people love being uncomfortable on roller coasters. The ups, the downs, the gurgling in your stomach because you had 5 corn dogs before getting on.
Did that happen to you, Wilson?
What? No.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun, your way. That means every few minutes across Ohio, 20 out of 80 possible numbers are randomly picked. And if some of the numbers you picked match, voila, you're a winner. Keno doesn't require you to know a single thing about sports skidball or overs, unders, pluses, minuses, or lines, or whatever else. Keno is as simple as, did some of my numbers match? They did? Great. You just raked in some dough. There are more than 20 hours of Keno draws every day and thousands of places to play statewide. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Another summer is ended, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower, your workouts aren't as productive, perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time, maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Tri-State Men's Health and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy to cloudy skies today and significantly colder. Extra layers will be needed, as with breezy winds, we could have our feels like in the 40s, although the air temperature will be in the mid to low 50s. For tonight, becoming partly cloudy overnight with our lows in the mid to upper 30s to low 40s and still breezy winds. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny, but it'll feel cooler with breezy winds and highs only getting in the mid to upper 50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garofalo with a 10 weather impact forecast.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The best hair on the air. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
You know, I'm not surprised because everybody's raising money to pay players. So the people that are giving the money think they have a voice, and they're just like a bunch of fans. When they get frustrated and disappointed, they put pressure on the athletic directors to take action, and it's the way of the world. That's Nick Saban on the firing culture that we've had in college football. And I will be candid with you, I was dead wrong on this. I really believed that because so many people were being pulled to pay for players, to pay for stadium renovations, to pay for all of this, that there would be booster fatigue in terms of giving, and that would allow guys to maybe have a longer leash. That was always my theory on how Billy Napier stayed at Florida as long as he did. And in a way, maybe it was proven true because they did fire him after a win. So maybe it took that long to get the money together to be able to fire him and move in another direction. So the one part of this, though, I definitely got wrong was that for right now, where we are with the sport, those powerful boosters and fans that are donating to pay players and have NIL and do all of these other things, they still have enough in the pockets to pay these buyouts. And I think it's a copycat situation where once it happened at Penn State and Penn State's able to cobble together $49 million, once that happens, then Florida can happen. We haven't seen Wisconsin yet. We don't know what's going to happen at Florida State. Could it happen in Auburn? Could it happen at LSU? I mean, you look at Brian Kelly's schedule, it's hard to imagine that it won't. But I do think that in the end, there will be some course correction on all of this. But for right now, there's still enough money in the private sector portion of the sport that they can pay off these coaches not to coach. So for Billy Napier, that's $21 million. For James Franklin, that's $49 million. For Mike Norvell, I think his number's upwards of 30 that they're going to have to pay. I mean, nobody batted an eye when Texas A&M wrote a check to Jimbo Fisher for $76 million. They've got oil money. We've seen Landman. We know how that works. But for a lot of these other programs, you've got to go find it. And you have to have boosters that are willing to write big, big checks. Because at Penn State, you are writing a check to fire James Franklin at $50 million. Then you got to fire his staff. So that's probably, Jim Knowles by himself is over $2 million. So you got to pay that contract out for as long as that is. Then you got to hire the new guys. And you're going to have to give them $75-80 million. So for right now, there is an unlimited Brinks truck in the booster sector of college football that remains very, very healthy. Will that eventually dry up? Will there eventually be fatigue? Perhaps. But for now, there's not, Reese.
So, yeah, ESPN's got Florida Athletic Director Michael Alford with a statement that a comprehensive review of the football program will happen after the season ends. So it looks like Norvell's keeping his job through December. If Florida State made a move away from Norvell, say they gave him the pink slip, the Seminoles would owe him $54 million in a buyout. And then ESPN did some more math, about $72 million if they were to fire Norvell and all of his staff. So all the King's horses and all the King's men would cost Florida State $72 million. And then,
I covered that program.
To your point, you got to hire the next guy. And he's going to ask for probably more.
Here's how I translate that, Reese, knowing that program, and I don't think there's a bunch of new money that's come into that program from the time I was there. My hunch is what Michael Alford's praying for is that Mike Norvell somehow turns this around. And they can finish if he were to beat Florida, if he were to do those type of things, could you rationalize keeping him around for another year? Because they are 0-4, and they've won 4 straight. They've lost 4 straight. They get Wake, then they're at Clemson, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Florida. If he could be bowl eligible, do they keep him there? Because the numbers that you just rattled off, those aren't in a Tallahassee seat cushion, I assure you. So that's the challenge of all of this. Saban's comments, though, are probably a big reason that he got out when he did. It's probably a very big reason why anytime somebody floats him or Urban's name, I go, no. Because you think they want to answer to boosters too? It's bad enough you're answering to aunts and uncles of players about playing time and everything else, and now you got to answer to boosters who you say, hey, I need this money to play this player. Player X shows up on campus. He's not playing to that level. I'm guessing this happens all the time with freshmen. You're paying these big money for these freshmen to come in and play, and you're giving them all this cash, and they come in and they don't make an impact in year one, and the booster's going, well, wait a sec, what did I pay for here? When's he going to? You told me we had to have him. I gave you the money. Why isn't he playing? How many of those calls are being made around the country on a weekly basis?
Or in the form of a text daily. That's where I always think about this.
How could you ever get rid of it?
Yeah, I don't think you could.
I wonder, as we talk about this, and here at Ohio State, we were lucky enough to still be winning all of the games we should. But I wonder how many of those calls or how many boosters were upset last year after that Michigan game.
Yeah.
And, whispers, hey, we can't win a top 5 game. We can't win the rivalry game. Well, sure, the win percentage is good. Sure, we're at the top of the sport, but we can't be the Kings without this. I wonder how many of those, whispers were there at least, or those text messages were made, and how totally different that is. And it's kind of interesting because you might be giving up on a coach too soon. Now, some of these situations probably not. Like, I don't think Penn State gave up on Franklin too soon. I don't think Florida gave up on Napier too soon. I don't think Oklahoma State obviously gave up on Mike Gundy too soon. Like, there were some long track records there. But I wonder how many good coaches, good younger coaches, are going to get the benefit of the doubt and the time to make it all work in the future. Like, some of the guys, are they going to get the chance to get through their growing pains and get to where they are and could be?
Well, and the other side of that's a great question. Here's the other side of that coin, though. If you are the athletic director at Penn State, or the athletic director at Florida would probably be the better example because they've had a bunch of coaches over the last 15 years. Do you learn your lesson? When Jimmy Sexton comes to you, the agent to every college football coach in America, when he comes to you and says, I need 7 years and $75 million, do you say no? You're not given 7 years. I'm going to go 4 years at 40. I'm going to give you the $10 million a year, but it's going to be 4 at 40.
That's
Will
going to take
these
some
universities
stones.
band together and change the way these coaches are compensated to protect their boosters? It would take a incredible amount of organization
and
to
trust.
be a collusion, honestly, is what it would be.
And we already know that's not going to happen, right? Because somebody's going to get greedy and think this is the next guy. We can't lose out on him. We got to give him what
Jimmy
he wants.
Sexton's job, right, Bake, is to say, well, boy, if you don't give it, go to Ole Miss and say, if you don't give Lane Kiffin 10 years and $125 million, he's going to go to Florida, and they're going to pay him that. And Ole Miss will panic, and they'll write a big check. We've already seen that at Indiana.
Yeah,
I don't know if Penn State was going to hire Cignetti.
It would just be like a tremendous amount of trust between these schools. Because,
yeah,
especially if a school in the conference wants to hire, say it's an Auburn, that wants to hire Lane away from Ole Miss. They're not going to care what a handshake deal was, or what Lane and Ole Miss's athletic director had in an agreement that wasn't signed to a piece of paper. But
something's got to give, though.
The buyout maybe is where I would think to go next. Where it wouldn't
not
be
guaranteed money.
Yeah, where the money isn't
guaranteed. Maybe
guaranteed.
they go an NFL model, Reese. Maybe that's a good point out of you. Maybe they go an NFL model where a certain amount of your money is a signing bonus that's guaranteed, and the rest of it, if you keep up to a certain standard, is not. They have to do something to offset this.
Yeah, because the James Franklin stuff's ridiculous, too, where it's like, well, we don't have to pay you if you, look for a job. Right. Or it's like, well, I'm not. I don't have any incentive.
How are you going to make him do that, right? So, no, it's an interesting time in the sport with all of this. Jake Trotter in 2 minutes, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
College football is more chaotic than ever. New rivals, new rules, and a brand new season of Fansville. Are you fan enough to handle the drama? Then grab an ice-cold Dr. Pepper from your local Kroger and buckle up for the season. College football, it's a Pepper thing. College football fans, listen up. You can catch Carnell Tate and Dr. Pepper on November 17th. We'll be at the new Kroger at 7525 Gardwell Street in Powell from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Stop by to get your photo with Carnell Tate. See you there.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Parents, are your teens good with money? No. Switch to Huntington Bank and let's teach them. They get their own card, which they can add to their digital wallet, and you can monitor and set spending limits. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Visit their Grandview, Gahanna, and Westerville locations to experience the best in craft dining and distilling. Learn more at highbankco.com.
And he joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. This is actually perfect, my friend, although it's always perfect when I get a chance to talk to you. But you have covered both college football and the NFL. And we were talking about this earlier in the show. Ohio State's on the bye week. Ohio State and Ryan Day they're chasing perfection. They're trying to go undefeated. They're trying to win back-to-back national championships. They're trying to win every game they play. In the NFL, teams don't really take that approach. Certainly you play to win the game, but if there's a loss, it's usually okay, even among the greater teams. In college football with a 12-team playoff, where this year we could see multiple teams with 2 losses and potentially even some with 3 when you look at what's happening in the SEC, does it make sense to chase perfection?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're Ohio State, you still want to chase perfection. I think for most programs, you look at the top 10, so like the Ole Misses of the world, the Texas A&Ms, you want to get in the playoff. If you get in at 9-3, who cares? Yeah. But I think for, a very select few, and I mean very select few, Ohio State and maybe 1 or 2 others, you're at a different standard that you have built over decades, and especially the last 25 years or so. Is it the end of the world if you lose at Oregon? We found out last year, no. But I think for this fan base, Bo, correct me if I'm wrong, you lose 1 game, that's not good enough. I don't know how many places are like that, but Ohio State feels like one of the very few right now.
Yeah, there's this, that is it, because I think we were probably conditioned to think that way, right? Because for the longest time in this sport, the only way you could for sure win a national title is to be perfect. And now we're 20-some years into, well, you don't exactly have to be perfect, and you're going to have to be less perfect going forward. I mean, the Big Ten's talking about 20-some teams in a playoff. I think it's a lead balloon to get you to get the number to 16 and not bat an eye at it. But I do think that there will be some, and we've seen coaches in the Southeastern Conference especially saying, hey, we have to take a different approach to this, because you look at these, like LSU's got 2 losses. They've got A&M and Bama the next 2 weeks. I mean, it's going to be 4 or 5 losses for Brian Kelly at LSU, and that's a failure. You get fired for that a decade ago. Now I don't know.
I mean, look at Oklahoma. They have 5 top 12 teams to close out the season. I can't remember the schedule in order, but it's like Ole Miss this weekend, then you've got LSU, Missouri, Alabama, and who am I forgetting? One other.
Finished with LSU.
Yeah, LSU. So, whatever it is, they have 5 top 5 teams left. I think if they went 3-2, that would be pretty good. They'd be 9-3. I think that gets you in the playoff, and even for Oklahoma, I think that's a really good season. it kind of depends on the schedule. I mean, let's face it, Ohio State's schedule looked a lot harder on paper before the season than it's turned out to be. I mean, the game next weekend, who would have thought that Penn State would have 4+ losses going into that game? And, Texas is, kind of a fringy top 20 team right now. They had a great win over Oklahoma, but they've had some struggles here and there. So, like, I mean, I was, and you look at Indiana too, like Indiana's toughest remaining game. Is it UCLA this weekend? I mean, that is crazy. I'm going to be there this weekend. And I was looking at their schedule. I was like, I think UCLA is their toughest remaining game. And UCLA fired their coach, didn't lead through the first 4 games of the season, was 0-4. And so it kind of depends on the schedule too. And I think this year in the Big Ten, it's top heavy for sure. The Big Ten championship probably going to decide the number 1 overall seed, and somebody else is going to be ranked really high. And I think Oregon, is going to be in as well, as long as they don't fall apart. But the SEC has just got more good teams this year, and so 9-3 to me in the SEC is a little bit more acceptable than the Big Ten.
Yeah, and I do think I talked about this last week. There's an incredible brand bias that we all have that talk about the sport around the SEC. I mean, there's 10 SEC teams ranked. They're not all that good.
It's really good. Yeah, but it's a good conference.
It is.
I mean, I'm not the
top to bottom. I agree with you.
Typically, I am not an SEC apologist. I've never been.
No.
But I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, you go down the list. Is LSU great? No, but they're good. Is Texas great? No, they're good. Oklahoma, same thing. Like, I don't know that they're outside. Maybe Alabama, and I guess Georgia, maybe. There's not really great teams in the SEC this year, but there's like 10 pretty good ones. I mean, from A&M to Ole Miss, Missouri. There's just a lot of really good teams, and it's hard, like in the NFL, to play a lot of good teams and beat all of them. You're just not going to do that. So I think schedule has a lot to do with, your expectations for going undefeated. But again, I just feel like Ohio State, given where they are right now, given where they've been, they're maybe at just a different level than anyone else in terms of what the expectations are and like whether it's acceptable to lose.
That's what's going to make this. I mean, this committee comes out 2 weeks from yesterday, and I am fascinated to see how they handle all of this because I used USC as an example. I've watched a lot of USC the last couple of weeks. They played Michigan, they played Notre Dame, watched all of those games. USC's better than Texas. They're better than LSU, better than both of them. And they're not ranked, and those two teams are. I think they're better than Tennessee, too, quite honestly. I think they're better than all of those 2-loss SEC teams. But then the question becomes, for the committee, what do you do with, let's say, Georgia Tech, who's ranked 7th in the country? You have to win the games you're supposed to win. They've won them all. They are going to play the rest of they're ranked 7th in the country, buddy. They're going to, if it stands as it is right now, they will play this entire season having played 2 teams that were ranked when they played them. Clemson was ranked 12th when they beat them, 24-21. That's it. That's the whole season. So how do you judge that versus what you just did with Oklahoma, where basically 7 games you play are ranked teams?
Yeah, we do this exercise every Saturday night where we have to submit our 12-team playoff projections, and we have to submit them like as soon as the last meaningful game has ended. So I'm kind of wrestling with this every Saturday night, and like, to me, I want your best wins first. That's like the first thing I'm looking at. Who did you beat? Because I would get frustrated with the BCS back in the day, where it was more like who did you lose to versus who did you beat? Who has the best wins? So like Alabama to me is number 3. They just have the best wins. They have the loss to Florida State, but I think their wins are more impressive to me than what Ole Miss, A&M, Oregon, et cetera, have done. So that's what I look at. And then, as I go down, I don't punish Georgia Tech for the fact that their schedule is not off the charts because they're undefeated. So I look at, all right, who are the undefeateds who maybe don't have the best wins, but they haven't lost, and they've just kind of been impressive when you watch them play. So I like Georgia Tech, I think, like 7th, right behind Georgia. So Georgia's ahead, even though Georgia, has lost. But I got Georgia Tech pretty high, too. So you just kind of have to – I mean, it's very subjective, but to me, I look at who you've beaten, and then I look at, all right, if you're undefeated, how have you gotten to that point? Have you been dominant? Have you gotten lucky? The teams you've beaten, like, were they better then? Did they have an injury? So I just try to contextualize it that way. But there's no predictable way to know what the committee and how the committee is going to react to all of this. So at some point, you just kind of have to go with what you think. And I think Georgia Tech's a pretty good football team, and they were good last year too. And I think that they deserve to be in the playoff. Just like I think Alabama, despite losing to what's turned out to be kind of a terrible Florida State team, they have been so impressive in the game since, and their wins, to me, put them at 3, even though they have a loss. I think most people would probably have some other teams ranked ahead of them.
We're going to be in this crazy. This is where conference expansion hurts us. I mean, it hurts us in about a billion ways, but another big way is you are not going to have balanced schedules even within the leagues. So you're going to be in a situation this year where, and I think Georgia Tech's going to win every game they play, and maybe they lose to Georgia and they're 11-1 playing in the ACC title game against an 11-1 Virginia team, while Miami's 11-1 on the outside looking in. And does the committee take all 3? And they just don't play each other in the regular season, right? So, like, you do all 3 of them get in at the loser of the conference championship game potentially at 11-2, and everybody else 12-1 or 11-1. That's where this is going to get so tricky, and we're relying on guys in Marriott Points rooms eating white tablecloth dinners making these decisions who aren't watching football. It's crazy.
It's actually the Gaylord Texan, but yeah.
They went to the Gaylord. Very good. Yeah,
they're
done with the Marriott Points now.
I don't think you get Marriott points for the Gaylord Texan. But
probably not, no.
I'll just put it, the hotel they stay at, the committee stays at, is like the nicest hotel you will ever see in your entire life. It's just incredible. So,
but there's no money, no money in the sport.
I know. Your scenario you lay out, it's just going to be the excuse people use to expand the playoff, which I'm not in favor of. I think we have a pretty good system right now, but again, there's an equity in quality of wins and schedule and conference strength. That's just not gonna go away. But there's no system you can create unless you go to an NFL model where you just take 32 teams and create small divisions where it ever is going to be equal, no matter how big or small the playoff is.
No. So you're going to Bloomington?
Yes.
I look forward to hearing your thoughts on. I'm very curious because they're football school now. I'm very curious to see what a Saturday in Bloomington is like when it's not Ohio State.
I have pitched this story. I don't know if we're actually going to do it or not. I haven't heard back, but think about the state of Indiana. Okay. Mm-hmm. We got the Hoosiers, who are incredible. Pacers go to Game 7, losing to my Thunder. You've got the Colts, who are an absolute juggernaut all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. You got Caitlin Clark, Fever.
Yeah.
And you've got Purdue, which I believe is the preseason #1 men's basketball team. This has got to be the best year in sports in the history of Indiana.
And you got Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame, of course.
Do you know how I feel about Indiana? Have you and I talked about it?
No.
I can't stand Indiana as a state. Just can't stand it. They're allergic to fixing potholes. So be careful.
It reminds me of driving through Arkansas. I would always have to do that.
Be careful, buddy. You've been warned. Good talking to you as always, pal.
Okay. See you, Bo.
All right, there he goes. Jake Trotter, ESPN, joining us on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, 1 pound packs of Private Selection 80% lean Angus ground beef chuck are only $4.99 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Newman Roofing, as part of its 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to recognize individuals who have made an impact for people of all abilities. This week, we would like to honor Caitlin Brown. Caitlin has made an impact by creating the Handy-Capable Kitchen, which raises money for Toys for Tots through her local Chili Fest. This Down Syndrome Awareness Month, Newman Roofing is proud to join forces with 10 TV and The Fan in celebrating our ongoing commitment to the community.
Do you feel the nip in the air? Oh, baby, people think summer's driving season. They're wrong. You spend more time in your car this time of year taking your dirty, annoying kids to dirty, annoying things. Go see my friends at Germain Lexus. They have special rates as low as 4.49% on their most popular models, including the 2026 TX350. Lease a 2026 NX for as low as $449 per month. And if new isn't your thing, they have plenty of L's certified inventory on the lot. Stop in and see them. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Hey friends, Beamer here. In the spirit of Halloween, Awaken 180 is offering free consultations. Learn how scary fast and how scary easy losing weight can be. For mine, I brought all the questions, and in the end, Awaken 180 was an absolute no-brainer for me. Determine if Awaken 180 is right for you. The free consultations end October 31st. Reserve by phone only at 844-346-1800. For details and the number, visit awaken180weightloss.com. Scary easy with scary fast results.
Buckeye fans, introducing Behind the O, the brand new app packed with original athlete and fan-driven Ohio State sports content. It's free to download in the App Store on iOS and Android, and every time you open it, you're helping generate NIL dollars for your favorite Buckeye athletes with zero cost to you. Get exclusive access to fresh behind-the-scenes videos, training routines, athlete lifestyles, and more from every Ohio State sport. Don't wait. Download Behind the O now and get closer to your Buckeyes than ever before.
Behind the O, free for fans, NIL for athletes.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh, no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Your game day headquarters is here at ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus, the only place to watch and win. Catch every play on more than 30 TVs and over 50 feet of video wall. Score tickets, signed professional and college sports memorabilia, and pen cash prizes. Join the watch parties for every home team game with a tailgate buffet and bucket specials. Plus, get official game day swag with every table reservation. Game day lives here, only at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. It's football season, and just like on the field, success starts with the right game plan and the right team. That's why I'm proud to team up with Monogram Homes. They're the true custom home builder, bringing precision, creativity, and attention to every detail, just like we do on Saturdays. If you're ready to build, don't settle for standard. Go custom. Go Monogram. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Speaking of pie, you guys like pie?
Yes.
Yeah, I like pie.
I like a good pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie?
Yeah, I do.
Well, it's that time of the year.
Come on, that's a vegetable pie, for God's sakes, man. What are we doing? All right. Go ahead. Little thing or not a thing?
Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Was it just that rejoin that had you thinking pie?
Well, I was on with Brother Bone and Nephew Tyvis and DG this morning, and they were talking about pies. And I usually see eye to eye with DG on most things. And he said, I heard him say as I was taking the boys to school that there are many pastries he choose over pie. And I said, well, you're picking the wrong pie, if that's the case, because there's a bunch of delicious pies that go beyond. It's very rarely offered anymore. You don't see it, other than like holidays is about the only time I ever see pie. So
there's just something about
that got me thinking about it.
I think being able to sit down and enjoy a slice of pie Like it's the situation, like the quality of pie, all of that makes for probably the best dessert/pastry experience.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I heard Dylan drop a famous old rock line when discussing pie, and I was like, oh, we're doing that, huh? Okay.
Following their 33-32 comeback win over the Giants Sunday in Denver, Broncos head coach Sean Payton gave his thoughts on the state of the G-men.
I have a ton of respect for that organization. I spent 4 of my early years there coordinating Super Bowl, first game in this stadium before 9/11, close with the Mayor Tisch family. And, they found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to John Mayer not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game.
So a lot of people took that to be a shot at Russell Wilson. Jackson Dart was quarterbacking the Giants on Sunday, and he took over in Week 4 of the season. Giants are 2-2 with Dart under center. They were 0-3 with Wilson. Russell, Mr. Unlimited, rather, played for Sean Payton with the Broncos in 2022. He was benched in 23, then released in 2024. Danger Russ Wilson went on Twitter yesterday and said, classless but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the media. # let's ride. Thing or not a thing?
When did Sean Payton say this?
He said this right after the game.
Okay. So I wonder if something happened post-game between him and Russ in like the handshake thing for him to go public with, because this is a shot. I read it the same. I mean, I didn't know the Wilson part of this until you read it. But as I'm listening to that clip, I'm thinking, well, that's clearly a shot at Russell Wilson, who, by the way, he was hired in Denver to get the most out of Wilson because of what he did with Drew Brees. And he bailed on that almost immediately. So, that's how that all worked. Sean Payton won. He got to draft his quarterback. They got a winning operation. Russell Wilson's now on his second team removed from his time in Denver. But I just wonder if something happened post-game for him to go public like that and take that big of a shot at Wilson.
Yeah, I think this is a thing because I feel like most coaches, and normally Sean Payton would take the high road on this. There's obviously something there in that relationship that happened with Russ and Payton in Denver to make him take this shot, because there's no doubt that was a shot at Russell Wilson. There's no way about that. He said that with purpose, with intention, and it was aimed directly at Mr. Unlimited.
What is? I want to see. I just pulled up his Pro Football Reference. I wanted to see how many games. So it was year 2 when Payton got there. Wilson started 15 games.
He gave him the fairest shake.
Yeah, I mean, he started 15 games. He completed 66% of his passes, 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And I just think with that, there was expectations. If you remember, and I've brought these Broncos teams up before, like I did the Jets. People were like, oh, this Broncos team, man, this is really good roster. They're just a quarterback away. And no, actually, they weren't that good.
Earlier this week, a jury in Florida awarded Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear, $50 million in a defamation lawsuit against Nicklaus Companies, which is owned by billionaire banker Howard Milstein. The 85-year-old Nicklaus had claimed the defendants suggested he had considered a $750 million deal to become the face of the LIV Golf League and disseminated those false claims to media outlets. The Golden Bears attorney told ESPN, quote, "It's always hard in defamation cases to prove damages to reputation because in particular for a guy like Jack, it's always such a good one. But I think what was important was the dispute that arose 3.5 years ago when the company told the world that Jack was selling out the PGA Tour for the Saudi Golf League when it was not true. So we're happy that Jack's been vindicated," end quote. Thing or not a thing?
So I read this story yesterday. Good for Jack, the Golden Bear. How dare you use his name in vain and not see punishment for it. So great job out of that. The thing that was a little surprising to me in the story was that the Nicklaus family sold Nicklaus Companies to a third party for a pretty decent size of chunk of money, but they sold their name. I think it's crazy. I'd have to know more details. I think it's crazy that some guy's running around running Nicklaus companies, and Jack Nicklaus isn't involved. That's a wild thing to me.
First things first, there's some things you never do. And one of those things is come after the reputation of the Golden Bear.
That's right.
Because that's clean and pristine. You don't try to do that. Second thing here, and it's kind of sounds like that, and I don't know, Bo, they were running it, but Jack still had some kind of role in the company and was still something. So it sounds like they were trying to use this, saying that he was going to leave the PGA and go to the Saudis, and it sounds like they were trying to go at Jack's mental capacity and say that he didn't have the mental wherewithal to continue to be in this role. So they were trying to push him completely out, it sounds like.
Well, they were also, it sounded like there was a non-compete where Nicklaus couldn't design courses in a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So that they still had the course design part of it.
And that's
either way, like if you have Nicklaus companies without Jack Nicklaus, what do you have?
Exactly. And they said that was the thing. The Saudis came to Jack and asked him to design a couple courses, and he had conversations with them. So they said, oh, he's going to be in bed with the Saudis. He's going to live.
Yeah, that's a wild story. A lot of layers to that one, but wild nevertheless. All right, it is the final hour of the program. We'll start it off with a little, hey, guys, your chance to win the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank, the free distillery tour as well. You can do that on the Twitter. You can do it in the YouTube chat. Both of those are options. It's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
There was never a doubt. The defending champion with a successful title defense at the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday.
Commemorate the magic of the season and the 50th anniversary of the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday. Tickets are now on sale for the 2026 tournament. When you purchase by November 14th, you will receive a special edition ornament and enjoy best pricing. Visit memorialtickets.com for more details.
Bundle up and save with Logan Services. Save on Train up to $2,000 off a furnace and up to $2,000 off an air conditioner. Plus, pick 2 freebies. It's hard to stop a train, so schedule your free estimate. Logan Services.
More and more these days, people who are in pain are trying to take control of their health. They want to look beyond the traditional medicine of going to just a normal doctor. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. People just like you and me are finding lasting relief without steroids, medications, surgery, right here in Columbus, Ohio at QC Kinetics. You'll be treated by the highly regarded orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Ray Tesner, founder of Grant Sports Medicine. Here's how it works. Your blood contains many tiny but mighty healing tools. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Tesner and his team will get to the root of where your pain stems from, right down to the cells that are involved. By putting these natural elements to work, your body, it can revitalize your joints, literally using your own body's biologics to heal you. It's a simple injection, not a hospital stay, no drugs, it's fast, all natural, and there's no downtime. So if it's knees, backs, hips, whatever it may be, give QC Kinetics a call for your free consultation. 380-208-4544, 380-208-4544, or qckinetics.com/Columbus.
If you love losing big money, then boy do we have the promo code for you. Enter code BIGBEAUTIFULBILL to unlock these awesome offers. You can buy a car for even more money than before, or watch your heat and electric bills skyrocket. It's exclusive for everyone thanks to Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, which our Senator John Huston supported. So use promo code BIGBEAUTIFULBILL. Sit back and crack open a cold one, but just one, because that's all you can afford. Paid for by NRDC Action Fund.
Treat yourself to a new ride from Coughlin Chevrolet. Lease a new 26 Chevy Trailblazer or 25 Trax, $189 a month. New 26 Chevy Equinox, $239 a month. Or a new 26 Silverado, just $369 a month. Visit CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Coughlin has a car for you.
36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. Ends 10/31/25.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, we've got a problem at Pella.
I like where this is going.
Because of Pella's reputation and quality, a lot of folks assume that we're out of budget.
Oh, that's too... Oh, I hate here.
But we've actually got 5 awesome window lines that fit any budget, from the $300,000 to the $3 million home, and far from the most expensive.
So you actually don't have a problem. Awesome.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
Listen to Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN, covering topics like what you need to know about annuities and how to stay healthy and enjoy retirement. Financially Fit Radio this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 1460 ESPN.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment
on any 4-tire purchase.
And Goodyear's up to $200 off?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of 4 tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Goodyears and save up to $200 more. See store for details.
We have made our community a very important part of our business. One of the things that many people may not realize is that I was born and raised in Columbus. Our plant is in Columbus. All of our employees are from Ohio. And the community hears about all that stuff. And so the community trusts us.
See for yourself. Visit RosatiWindows.com or come to our showroom located at 4200 Roberts Road.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 1 Ohio State's on a bye in Week 9. Buckeyes are back at the shoe next Saturday against 3-4 Penn State at noon. Nittany Lions are also idle this weekend. Hear from Ohio State's head coach tomorrow at noon on the Ryan Day Radio Show. In the NBA tonight, the Cleveland Cavaliers begin the regular season playing at Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks. It'll be a 7 p.m. tip from MSG. Darius Garland will miss some time to start the season as he recovers from off-season big toe surgery. In the NHL last night, the Blue Jackets made it 2 straight with a 5-1 win in Dallas against the Stars. Jackets scored twice on the power play. Elvis Merzlikins had 22 saves in the win. CBJ will look for 3 straight back at Nationwide Friday night against the Washington Capitals. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little Hey Guys on a First Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank Distillery Co. Learn more at highbankco.com.
All right, winner here gets $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. Free distillery and tasting tour up to 10. Home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. It's right here in town. Make your reservation at highbankco.com. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
All right, we'll start on Twitter. You can also get Hey Guys into the YouTube chat. If we can read them on the air, we'll do our best to get them in the next 10 minutes. Buckeyezilla on Twitter says, hey guys, at the Jackets Lightning game Saturday, I spilled an almost full beer on 2 children in front of me. He asks, what is the most embarrassing thing you've done in attendance at a game? He also notes that he bought him Stinger plushies to make it up to them.
Okay, good job out of him. That's A+ effort out of Buckeyezilla to do that. Is that what that was? That's a great job.
Yep.
Your mess up, make it right, and that's a good job. out of everybody. And hopefully the parents were understanding of the two children. So that's a very good job. So I think because I basically, the majority of my big-time sports attendance has been done as a working member of the media. So when I go to games now, I go with my family. I don't ever go like booze up and tailgate and all that stuff. I'm taking the boys, and so that's it. So I don't have, I've seen a lot of brutal behavior. I don't have one. I don't have anything that I've embarrassed myself with in attendance of a game, just because the majority of the time I've gone as working media, and if I don't do that, I go with my kids.
So, I mean, other than the occasional, like, you stub your toe on a stair and kind of stumble a little bit, I've never had any kind of fall or you're going in and out of the aisle and maybe trip over someone's feet. Nothing crazy like spilling the whole beer on the kids. I will say, It was the last year of Joe Louis Arena. So we went up to a Blue Jackets game there because we wanted to go to Joe Louis Arena.
Oh.
And obviously it had been a day. We had pre-gamed a little bit, so I was feeling good, and I struck up a conversation with this Red Wings fan next to me, and this guy looked just like an ex-girlfriend's dad. So in the process of trying to tell him that, I said, I used to date a girl and you look just like her. And he looked at me with like the weirdest face ever. And it took me maybe, it may have been only like 3 or 4 seconds, but it felt like 30 seconds to realize and be like, no, wait a second. I meant to say you look just like her dad.
It's a good correction out of you. I don't think I've ever spilled beer on anyone. I've dropped beer, certainly, and beers come out of the cup, but not enough to soak anybody. And I've always taken the approach, if there is a mess up, you apologize as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even think about saying anything else.
Just my bad.
I'm so sorry, and you do whatever you can to rectify the situation. I do see this from Phil real quick in the YouTube chat. Dropped my beer at the Illinois game. Didn't spill too much. Only got a little on his fiance. Says he had to use his national title sweatshirt to wipe it up, though. Which, there's collateral involved with that. Phil did submit a question earlier in the YouTube chat. Says, hey guys, do you have any good high school party stories? Says, my parents let me throw one when they went out of town senior year. He says it went off smoothly, except someone broke his dad's grill, which he notes he wasn't very happy about.
So, so in our town, and sometimes I wish this is how it was, and my kids aren't old enough yet for this, as NBC's just an 8th grader, but in our town, there was an incredibly strict rule. It was a no strikes rule. So if you got caught with alcohol in high school and you were on a team, you're done. That's it. Like, there's not a conversation. It's not a suspension. It wasn't like, oh, you're going to miss the weekend. It was, you're off the team. So I played football, I played basketball, and then I ran track in the spring, my senior year anyway. And so I didn't party in high school at all. And so I never went to any. We never did, because the athletes didn't do that, and you didn't. I don't know how they did it. I'm guessing it's still not the case there. I'm guessing this isn't common, but it's the way we did. So the first time that I ever attended a party was after my senior year. The summer after my senior year, we did a little bit, and then once I got into college, obviously. But I never threw a party at my house, ever. Even after, in high school, never.
Well, I wish I could say the same. And that is not the case. So, spring break of my senior year, my parents were out of town for something family related in Tennessee. And I was like, oh, well, we're going to do this. Spring break, right? So, on Friday nights, I don't even know if everybody knows this whole story. I might be ratting myself out years later now. So, on
Statute of limitations here.
Friday night, we had 2 kegs at the house. It was a great time. Everything went off without a hitch. So we were like, well, let's do it again on Saturday night. So we ran it back. So we had 1 keg. I told everyone we wouldn't tap it until, I believe, 9:30. By 10:30, the keg was gone. And I just remember looking outside at one point, Bo, and your story about all the cars in your neighborhood really took me back to this moment. We lived right on a curve, and I remember there was somebody parked in the curve across, perpendicular to the road. And I'm like, oh, that's probably not good. And of course it wasn't, because cars were everywhere. They were blocking the road, and then the cops showed up. Well, they knocked on the door. Someone happened to think it was someone coming to the party, and they opened the door. Shame on them. So the cops came in, and if you were 18, you were allowed to leave. If you were under 18, you had to stay and wait for your parents. We had drugged the keg into the bathroom real quick. They had found that. I told them it was okay. They could take it. It was empty anyway. Probably not the smartest thing to say ever. And needless to say, right when they were there, my parents called to check in. So that was not good. They were on the way home from Tennessee immediately. And, I ended up in a little trouble. The nice thing was, though, we had cups for the keg. I took one of those to school the next week and raised money to pay all my fines. So that was pretty good.
Stinks you didn't get the deposit back for that keg if the cops took it.
I think my buddy's parents came and got it, and because it was their tap.
Okay.
And they took it, and they got the deposit for us, so.
Senior year, I had several parties at home because Mom would be gone for the entire weekend, and I got really good at cleaning beer off the floor because one of the first times she came home while we were in the process of cleaning. So we had done the job of throwing everything away, of clearing we'd put cardboard up over the window so the cops couldn't peer in. We did everything we could to make sure it was foolproof, just the timing didn't work out. And she comes in, and I'd Febreze the place, seeing the car, and the panic set in. And I tried to mop as quickly as I could and put all of this stuff away from her. She walked in, and she took one step, and it just stuck her foot right to the floor. So what's this from? I'm like, well, you already knew, so there's no point in lying. You're already in trouble. So that happened. But we also, Baker, I remember going outside and doing air traffic controlling of cars. Now, you got to park 2 blocks over. You got to park a block away, so it didn't look like there were a ton of people at one spot.
Yeah, it was a bad job out of me with the cars.
We'll stick in the YouTube chat with Chimdi Chekwa's Burner, who asks, hey guys, with Julian and Jeremiah both having to come back next season, if that were to not be the case for one of them, which one would you choose to keep for 2026?
Oh, God, that's
a hell of a question.
That's brutal.
I don't want any part of that. I mean, that's picking your favorite child. It'd be just brutal.
You do have one, though, you're saying.
Of course. Jeez. Listen, it's football. You always take the quarterback. It's football.
Listen.
The quarterback is just worth more. It just is.
If you lose Jeremiah, you still have Mylan Graham. You still have Quincy Porter. You still have Bryson Rogers. You still have Chris Henry Jr. coming in.
Yeah.
You just don't know if you don't have Julian. And it's kind of crazy to say because Jeremiah is probably the best player in college football, but you've got to take Julian.
Yeah, you just have to take the quarterback. It's just the product of the sport.
We'll get to this real quick on Twitter from Mark. He says, hey guys, my wife and I have been married 10 years Saturday. Congratulations is what I'll add to that. He says they want to get away in December. He asks, where would you recommend going when you're not bringing the kids?
Oh gosh, there's so many places that are so great. Wine country's pretty awesome. If you want to go, California wine country is spectacular. I'm not sure what it's like in December. I mean, there's so many great. I think any place on a 10-year. I think what you want is any place that resembles a honeymoon. So try, resorty, beachy. In December, I'd try to find sun. Is what I would probably try to do. There's a litany of places that would be great in Florida or places in Southern California that all hit. The one thing, you have to get far enough south so you're guaranteed it's going to be warm, so that's tricky. And really in Florida, the only place that you're almost guaranteed is Miami, the Palm Beach, and a little bit north in Palm Beach, but that should be fine. The Caribbean's undefeated for that. I think it has to resemble a honeymoon is what you're shooting for there.
I feel like my answer to this is always Hawaii or Turks and Caicos. Those are my two places. If you can afford it, and whatever you do, get the all-inclusive. Have a time.
You like an all-inclusive?
It's your 10th anniversary. Come on. Get all your food and drinks paid for.
Well, I like to pick what I want, though. I'm an anti-all-inclusive guy. Right. I want to be able to pick my things.
So your question about wine country in December. My girlfriend and I are going December 22nd. We're going to spend Christmas out in Napa. So I'll let you know.
Jeez. I'll give you a list. I got some places for you, Reese.
I'll take you up with that.
You'll be ready to go. We got engaged out there. It's spectacular.
By the way, if we didn't get to your question, these are some great questions. We had a ton today in the YouTube especially.
Oh, good.
Just
good.
Get them back in next Wednesday as well. We'll get to them.
We got to pick a winner today.
Who's the guy who did the Good Samaritan work and got the kids some plushies?
Buckeyezilla.
Yeah, he gets it. You get the that's just a good job of making a bad situation right. Good job out of you. You get the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank, the free distillery tasting tour for up to 10. Home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. It's located right here in town. Make your reservation at highbankco.com. One other piece of news here on the High Bank front. Won't be long, and a very special couple of bottles going to be dropping that we had a little something to do with here, and it could be in the next few weeks or so. So look for that out there. A conversation about Michael Air Jordan. We'll get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Save big on select varieties of Kroger brand cheese. 6 to 8 ounce packs are only $1.79 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store today. Walk-ins are always welcome. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
I love Right Pack Credit Union because they're solution driven.
I feel valued as a member.
They're focused on the latest technology and the personal connections.
Experience benefits that go beyond banking with Right Pack Credit Union. Just ask our actual members.
I definitely recommend Right Pack to all my family and friends as a credit union of choice.
Visit one of our Columbus area Right Pack Credit Union member centers near you. Based on individual members' experiences, results may vary.
Another reason to choose Hinderer Motor Company for your next vehicle. This is Justin Hinderer. Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty, award-winning service, and our exclusive Carvenience. We pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it so you save time and enjoy peace of mind. That's Carvenience. At Hinderer Motor Company, we take care of everything so you can drive worry-free. See why we're the best choice for your next new or used car by visiting HindererMotorCompany.com.
Finally, fall is here. The leaves are changing, the air is crisp, and the cooler temperatures are a welcome relief. But as those temperatures continue to drop, it's also a reminder that winter is just around the corner. We know it might feel a little early to start talking about freezing temperatures and snow, but now is the perfect time to make sure your roof is ready. Before the winter weather hits, wouldn't you like the peace of mind that your home is protected? If you're unsure about the condition of your roof or just want to be prepared for the months ahead, call the professionals you can trust at Newman Roofing. With over 30 years in business and 3 generations of Newmans in the roofing industry, we're dedicated to educating you about your roof so you understand exactly what's happening. We believe that an informed homeowner can make the very best decision for their needs. Give us at Newman Roofing a call today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Let Newman Roofing help you prepare for winter the right way.
If you have an unhealthy obsession with the Blue Jackets, we have just the remedy. Join us Wednesday nights at 7 for the Inside Edge. All the Jackets and hockey conversation you can handle. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app. Free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun, your way. That means you pick your wager. Will it be $1, $2, a crisp $20? Your call. Like picking your own numbers? Use any inspiration you like. Birthdays, jersey numbers, you name it. And if you don't feel like choosing, there's the Super Quick Auto Pick. With regular promotions that'll get you more bang for your Keno buck, multiple ways to win, prizes galore, and live draws every few minutes. Anytime is the right time to get in on the Keno action. Keno is always fun, your way. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy to cloudy skies today and significantly colder. Extra layers will be needed as with breezy winds, we could have our feels like in the 40s, although the air temperature will be in the mid to low 50s. For tonight, becoming partly cloudy overnight with our lows in the mid to upper 30s to low 40s and still breezy winds. And then for Thursday, mostly sunny, but it'll feel cooler with breezy winds and highs only getting in the mid to upper 50s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with a 10 weather impact forecast.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
And it's the final Capital Florida Columbus High School football game of the week of the season. It heads over to the Fan 2 this Friday. Olentangy hosting Olentangy Berlin. Coverage starts at 6:30, kicks at 7. After the Blue Jackets game on the Fan, it's Byers, Subaru, Dublin's overtime with Bake and Lee. Friday nights are for high school football on the Fan. So this is playoff seeding. It's who's in, who's out. They're down to 12 teams now. Do I have that right? Down from 16?
Yeah, they dropped down from 16 to 12. The first 4 in each region will get a bye in the first week. And then I believe at least the first 2 weeks, maybe the first 3, we're doing home sites, so home games in the playoffs.
Good. Okay. What is your relationship with Michael Jordan, Reese? As the youngest of the three of us, what is your relationship?
Well, so 97 Bulls Jazz was one of the first NBA Finals series that I remember. Mm-hmm. And so that season leading up to it, and then obviously with the Bulls winning and everything that kind of followed, like he was the greatest athlete growing up and still has a place for it. Like it was Jordan until Tiger. And then because of how great Tiger was, he took it for me, at least, you know, in terms of what I consumed as a sports fan. But yeah, Jordan had the mystique. Obviously, Space Jam was the biggest thing.
Yeah,
like on the planet. It was Michael Jordan.
By the way,
yeah,
that Space Jam's great. His is.
So, I was a Magic Johnson guy. So, I respected Michael Jordan, and he's the best to ever do it. But I also kind of hated him because his teams were trying to push Magic and the Lakers out there. He's I don't even think it's a question that he's the best of all time. Just the combination of him and his work ethic and his mentality and that killer instinct. I do think Michael Jordan, though, did some things that changed basketball in a negative way because people were trying to do things like him and they couldn't. And it just like allowed a lot of things like I think a lot of palming of the basketball, carrying of the basketball and things like that, some traveling. I think that just became commonplace because people were trying to do what he could do and they couldn't.
Yeah, it's funny. Our stories are similar. So I was a Magic guy too. And my younger brother, 2 years younger, my brother Tuck, he was a Jordan guy. And I hated him too. Not as much as I hated the Celtics, but close because inevitably I had to get to the point to acquiesce that, yes, he's better than Magic. Fine. Like, and that was when we were little kids, I argued that all the time. And I'd always be 5 championships. And then Jordan got 6. And at that point it was long gone. The reason I asked the question is because I don't think that our answers would be similar if you asked kids. If you ask kids now, and I coach a bunch of them, and a lot of them still want to wear 23, but it's not for Mike, it's for LeBron. If you ask kids now who's the best player of all time, you will get a lot of LeBron James. You'll get some Kobe Bryant. You'll get some of that. as greatest of all time. And Kobe is basically just a mimic of Mike. He's copied everything from the way that he talked, the way that he played. Everything he did was just a mimic of Mike, and it's crazy that he was skilled enough that he could damn near pull it off. The reason I asked the question is, as you're watching NBA on NBC last night, and we're told we're going to get this big Jordan kind of reveal, and he's going to contribute to the broadcast, what you got instead was Michael Jordan, probably on an afternoon or an evening, sitting down with Mike Tirico for a couple of hours and having a conversation, and then taking a part of that conversation and then treating as if it was like the halftime show. And it's a little bit like, you've heard people probably say this about Eddie Murphy. If you're of a certain age, if you're a man, you're 40 or advanced even from that, Eddie Murphy in the 80s was the funniest human being on the planet in the mid-80s. Delirious, Raw, Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, Coming to America, all of this, right? Funniest guy on the planet. And then he kind of went away, and he was the voices in Shrek, and he did the Nutty Professor, and he did this type of stuff. And he kind of went away. So then when Eddie would go back to Saturday Night Live for like an anniversary, he would do something pretty minimal, but would get this huge payoff just because we just wanted to see Eddie Murphy again. And I think that's what NBC did last night with Michael Jordan. It was utter nonsense. It was utter nonsense. I was texting with a buddy of mine. He's like, wasn't it so great to hear from Jordan? I'm like, I don't know. He told a story about how he doesn't pick up a basketball anymore, which I don't really believe. He told the story about how he rented a house from someone on Long Island, obviously, for the Ryder Cup, and that person then showed up at the house that he had rented with his kid and for pictures, and then made Michael Jordan shoot a free throw.
Well, because Michael didn't want to let the kids down. He made it.
Michael, he did make it, but what a silly story. Like, who would ever, which, by the way, that leads me to believe that Jordan probably got the house for free, which otherwise, why would he take a photo? So, like he says in the interview, which I paid for it. No, you didn't. You wouldn't be taking a photo. You're not going to be, it's like I tell you to dance, go dance, right? That's kind of it. Like, you did this to Michael Jordan. Go shoot a free throw. No, I don't want to shoot a free throw. No, I need to see you shoot a free throw. No, not doing it. So the whole thing had had no analysis at all. The story wasn't even really that great, other than he made a free throw that some wealthy guy asked him to make in front of his kids. But everybody acted like it was this big, huge thing because it's Michael Jordan.
The magic pill thing was pretty funny, where he says he wishes he could take a magic pill and just see everybody in NBA Twitter be like, look at Bulls fans right now just trying to science a magic pill so he can come back and play for him. I thought you were getting live and you would be getting live analysis, but it looks like they just baked a Jordan cake and you're going to get slices of it over the next however many weeks until the interviews are done. I mean, it's great for Sunday afternoon when you're just looking for sports nostalgia, but at the half, I think most people without really a good Jordan background, probably younger generation, just like, all right, I'm out.
And I think what you just said there is why he's doing it. He mentions that he feels there's an obligation to give back to the game of basketball. He's never been about that.
Yeah, that wasn't true.
I think what it's about is I want the young kids to know my name other than as a Jumpman logo on a sneaker release. Because I'm telling you, kids don't wear his sneakers. Like in competitive basketball, they do not wear them. They still release a Jordan every year. Kids don't wear them. They wear Currys, they wear LeBrons, they wear Kobe's. They wear Sabrinas, Ionescu's, a lot of those you see. You don't see Jordans. You don't see kids playing in Jordans.
Do we know how much NBC is paying him to be part of? I mean, because I'm sure when they have the finals, he'll be live. But yeah, a lot of me was hoping that you could get live analysis from him, like how he sees guys playing in today's game. But I wonder if he's just been so removed, it might take him some time to ramp up to actually provide that. Because him probably watching OKC in Houston last night was like, what is this? What kind of basketball are they playing?
I don't get the sense he watches.
Yeah.
But it's like the Eddie thing I said. Like, if you just get a little bit from him, it goes 1,000 miles because we haven't seen him regularly in 30 years.
Bo, do you think, to your point, do you think a lot of kids nowadays know Michael Jordan from The Last Dance, and that's it. If they even
don't
watched
even know
it
him from that. They know him from this. They know him from The Gear and Space Jam, because that Space Jam is still the one that the kids flock to, not the LeBron one. They flock to the Jordan one, so they know him from Space Jam and they know him from the Jumpman logo. That's what they know him for. But kids aren't looking for the shoes. There was a moment a couple of years ago when they all wanted the throwback Jordans, but now that's past. So, and for basketball, they don't ever. There's not a kid I've coached in now 6 years of coaching youth sports that's worn Jordans to play basketball.
That's wild to me.
Yeah, they keep coming out every year, and that was the shoe you had to have when we played. You had to have the Jordan.
Am I remembering this correctly? But Jack Sawyer had a pair of Jordans when he strip sacked Quinn Ewers.
It's funny you say that because you actually see it much more in football.
Yeah.
You see Jordans in football more than basketball.
Those look good.
They do.
I mean, they obviously look better when you're running down in a Cotton Bowl win.
Yeah, Burrow wears them, and Dak Prescott wears Jordans. There's a lot of guys who wear Jordans to play football, but you don't see it in basketball. On the hardwood, the Cleveland Cavaliers are something this year that, to my recollection, no team in Ohio has ever been. Danny Cunningham with a little perspective on that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Delaware County Veterans Services is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Give Delaware County Veterans Services a call, 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment.
More and more these days, people who are in pain are taking control of their health and looking beyond traditional medicine. Hey, it's Tyvis Powell. People just like you are finding lasting relief without steroids, medication, or surgery. Right here in Columbus at QC Kinetics. You'll be treated by highly regarded orthopedic surgeon Dr. Ray Tesner, founder of Grant Sports Medicine. Here's how it works. Your blood contains tiny but mighty healing tools. At QC Kinetics, Dr. Tesner and his team get to the root of where your pain stems from, right down to the cells involved. By putting these natural elements to work, your body can revitalize your joints, literally using your own power to heal. It's a simple injection, not a hospital stay. It's fast, all natural, and there's no downtime. If your back, knees, or shoulders are keeping you from enjoying life, explore all your options before you agree to more pills or surgery. Find out if you're a good candidate. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
Matty Ice here. How far are you willing to drive for a great deal on a new vehicle? Well, I made the short drive north to McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion and got my new car. And right now, you can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 with up to $12,000 off MSRP for qualified buyers. They believe in a no-hassle sales experience so you can get the truck you want at a price you'll love without the stress. They're just off Route 23 on 95 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
Cavaliers kicking off the NBA season tonight at Madison Square Garden. For perspective on the Cavs and the NBA at large, we head out on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation with our good buddy Danny Cunningham. Covers the Cavs at the Inside Shot on Substack and Locked on Cavs. World's most famous arena and a season unlike any other. I said in the tease, buddy, I don't know of an Ohio professional sports operation that's ever done what the Cavaliers and Dan Gilbert are doing this year in terms of they're spending all of it. For the folks who are jumping onto this train right now, give us a little bit on how the Cavaliers get on this spot of having the biggest payroll in the NBA in a season that feels like it finally has a lot of pressure to it.
Yeah, so they are a very expensive team, Bo, in part because they've drafted well. You look at Darius Garland, who won't play tonight in the season opener against the Knicks. He's on a max contract. You look at Evan Mobley, who in his fourth year in the league won Defensive Player of the Year, was second-team All-NBA. He's on a new max contract that kicks in this year. Donovan Mitchell is obviously an all-world talent, a first-team All-NBA player. He's on a max contract. Jared Allen is making $20 million a year. Max Strus is making $15 million. DeAndre Hunter's on a fairly sizable deal. You've got raises for guys like Sam Merrill. So it all adds up into being the most expensive team in the NBA, which, to Dan's credit, too, this is not the first time this happened. If you want to think back to that second LeBron stint, those Cavs teams were very, very, very expensive. Now, I think that there might be some complications from this down the line, not in terms of the finances, but because of how restricted now the rules are when you are a very expensive team. But the Cavs have amassed a lot of talent. They've amassed a lot of expectations. And with that stuff comes being pretty expensive.
It certainly is. And I love this. I mean, it's a great job out of Dan to go all in, and what a year to be able to do it. And I'll get to that with you in a second. But I was also doing a little reading on this, and obviously you'll know this right away. They're very limited in terms of being able to improve this team during the season. Is that correct? Essentially, this is Norman Dale from Hoosiers. My team's on the court.
Correct. And to be fair here, too, teams that win championships, that is the goal. Like, if the Cavs don't win the title this year, I think it's not a success. Those teams very rarely do make significant moves during the season. Now, the Cavs do have some things available to them. Like, they could trade a player and get another player back in return. It's just that player needs to be making the same amount of money or less than the player they send out. They cannot acquire a player via a buyout if that player was making more than, I believe it's the mid-level exception, which is around $12 million, and a lot of guys on the NBA making more than that. So they're very limited in that regard. They cannot trade out two players and only get one in return. They cannot aggregate salaries as a team that's in the second apron. So while they are very expensive, I actually think the thing that is more restrictive for them are the rules of the second apron rather than the financial penalties that exist.
And the just for the audience, just so they understand, the rules just say you're constricted here, kids, is the way that this thing goes. And you hit on this, and I think this is the great point. You have an injury, a massive injury in Boston with Tatum. You have what happened in the finals to Indiana with the massive injury there. If not now, when for this Cavaliers team? And you said it. You said for you, if they don't win the championship, the season's a failure. Is that the way that they are behaving?
I think it is. I think that they understand what the expectations are. And I also think that they understand that, and maybe this doesn't matter so much to the guys on the roster, but I don't know. Outside of having LeBron on the roster, the Cavs as a franchise have never had an opportunity like this year. Like, I'm standing in Madison Square Garden right now, and the Knicks are obviously very formidable. They're a team that very well could beat the Cavs in the playoffs. They're a team that I think is capable of winning the finals. But look at the rest of the Eastern Conference. The Knicks are the only team I can say that about. Like, I like what Atlanta did. I like what Orlando did this past summer, but I don't think those two teams are anywhere near the level of the Cavs or the New York Knicks for that matter. And then you look at the Western Conference, and there are a lot of very good teams, but you have to be one of them 4 times in a single series to win the title, ultimately, if you get there. So I look at this and saying, yes, this is certainly the most pressure the Cavs have had in a long time to be successful, but I also think it is the best opportunity, again, sans LeBron on the roster, that they've ever had as an organization.
Last year, they come out of the gates gangbusters, man, 15-0. Just the story of the NBA. You play to win the games, right? But is there a different approach? And not like Kenny went out last year and said, hey, let's go win all 15, but like you're in the middle of it, just keep winning. Do you think they will take a more long play this year, or is that just stuff that you and I do when we talk about it, not something that's very real when you're one of the guys between the lines?
I mean, you're right in the sense that they play to win the game. And I do think that they, despite being a 64-win team last year, I do think they took a long-term approach. Like, Donovan Mitchell played the fewest minutes per game in his career. Evan Mobley only played 30 minutes a night. It's not as if they were going all out in terms of maxing out minutes every single night to get to those wins. I think where you see this is with the return to play or return to performance, as Kenny Atkinson termed it the other day, because they have guys that are injured right now. Obviously, Darius Garland not playing tonight. Max Strus is probably going to be out until 2026, I would imagine, with that Jones fracture in his foot. DeAndre Hunter listed as questionable tonight. Like, I just think that where we're going to see that is when guys have injuries, they're going to err on the side of caution, because the thing that matters is what happens in April, May, and June. And the best chance the Cavs have of being successful in April, May, and June is by all of the key players being healthy. Because we saw last year, when you're not healthy, your opportunity can slip away just like that, as it did for the Cavs against the Pacers. So I think that is the long-term view that they approach now. I think that they will be still intense in the regular season. I actually expect them to be a better defensive team this year in the regular season than they were last year. I don't know if they're going to be as potent offensively, where they were the second best offense in NBA history last regular season. They're still going to win a lot of games, but I do think that everything this year is going to be taken with the long view in mind.
Talking to our buddy Danny Cunningham, covers the Cavs at the Inside Shot on Substack and Locked on Cavs on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. When you hear national people talk about the Cavs, they say, well, if they're going to win it, then at some point Evan Mobley needs to take an even bigger leap. And he's been a great player. Obviously, you mentioned Defensive Player of the Year and all of those things. But is there another gear for him to shift into offensively that you see? When you're looking through camp and what you're watching tonight and early part of this season, how closely will you be monitoring if there's another step for Mobley to take?
Very close. That is, to me, the thing offensively to watch. Now, if you watch the Cavs closely last year, you know that Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley were practically tied at the hip in terms of their rotations. Like, they would come off the floor at the same time in the first quarter, they would check back into the game at the same time, and their minutes lined up very, very closely. And the same thing was true of Darius Garland and of Jarrett Allen. Now, with no Darius Garland to start this season, Donovan Mitchell is going to have his minutes, or maybe it's more accurate to say Jarrett Allen will have his minutes tied to Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Mobley is going to have opportunity on the floor where he's the guy offensively. Now, there were spurts even with Donovan Mitchell on the floor last year where Evan could take over games, but those spurts are going to be bigger this year. The opportunity is going to be greater, and I think the pressure is going to be greater on him, but they need him to be able to come through in those spots if he's going to reach that next level, because I do think there's an added level of aggressiveness that he can get to. I think he can shoot the ball a little bit more. Like, one of the things that I will be very interested in seeing at the end of the year, I would expect Donovan Mitchell is going to lead the Cavs in field goal attempts. Is Evan Mobley second? If he surpasses Darius Garland there, I think it's going to mean really good things for Evan, which in turn would mean very good things for the Cavs.
You obviously cover the league at large, too, when you go into all the games like you are, my friend. Is there a team, as we kick off this season, that folks maybe aren't talking about enough, that you kind of like what they did this offseason?
It's not necessarily what they did this offseason, but I look at Minnesota as a team that's been to the Western Conference Finals each of the past 2 years, and no one really talks about them. Like, the conversation out west is rightfully so about Oklahoma City. I still think they're the best team in basketball. It's a lot about Denver, who did some really good things this offseason. But Minnesota has been the team that has gotten outside of OKC the furthest the last couple of years out west. And I think that they have the guy in Anthony Edwards that, maybe 12 or 24 months from now, we're talking about him as the best player in basketball. I don't know if we'll get there, but I think it's possible we get there. I just think when you have that combination of already having a taste of postseason success, plus having this up-and-coming superstar, I think that they're a team that doesn't get enough credit, partially because, listen, they're in Minneapolis, right? It's not a sexy city, and I can say that as someone who lived there for a few years. I don't think they get the credit that they deserve, but I think they're going to be very, very good this season and a force in the playoffs.
Buddy, I know you pretty well. Madison Square Garden on opening night's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I am. I'm very excited for this one. I think this is going to be a very, very cool environment. I'm glad the NBA set it up this way. And I mean, you can look at what matters. The NBA gave the Cavs Knicks the game opening night. They play on Christmas Day. They play again in February. Like, they believe this is going to be the matchup to watch. This is going to be a measuring stick game. You're getting one now. You're getting one in a couple months. You're getting one near the end of the year. I think that this game holds a little bit of extra weight. Like, I just think it is a big deal to open up in this building, especially when the Knicks are good. Like, if the Knicks stunk, it would still be cool, but it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But I think this should be a pretty fun night.
Nights like this are why you got into it, buddy. Enjoy it. Great talking to you as always.
Thank you so much for having me, Bill.
All right, there he goes. Danny Cunningham covers the Cavaliers at the Inside Shot on Substack and Locked on Cavs as well. We'll get you officially endorsed in 3 things on a First Friday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Daily Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Flat Auto Glass. We've talked about the defense and how they've played at such a high level all season. Is consistency one of the biggest parts of that?
Yeah, and in order to be consistent, it comes back to your fundamentals. And another thing that doesn't sound too flashy, but it's what really matters, and it starts with stopping the run. And we have to play with great pad level. We have to get our hands on people, defeat blocks, understand how the run game fits, and then you force them to start to play one-handed, just having to throw the ball. And that's when turnovers can happen and the game can break open. So we have to make sure that moving forward that we're continually doing that, and then I can't get bored with it, because that's how you become consistent, is doing the same thing over and over and over again, and not losing focus. So all those things come into play in consistency, and that's what we're going to need.
Okay, another comment coming up in just a moment.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Buckeye fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes those moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, beer.
I want to go back, Ryan, to after the Wisconsin game Saturday. You talked about how your backups on defense in the fourth quarter were still, it was a point of pride to keep Wisconsin out of the end zone. That has to be something that filters down through everybody and with approval.
Well, yeah, and I think when you are focused on just the process and not worried about the scoreboard, it's everybody. And it doesn't matter, what the score is, when it is. Like, if everyone's into it like they were at that point, we knew we wanted to get off the field at the end of the game. And that's a good sign when not only are the guys who are on the field into it, but the guys off the field were into it, and they were encouraging their guys. And even when that timeout was taken, or maybe it was a 2-minute warning, guys were barking at them. Come on, man! Like, we gotta get these guys, and we gotta stop them. And then when you see the guys make the plays, you can see the celebrations on the sideline, and that's what you're looking for. Not only for guys to continue to compete, but also team chemistry. And celebrating with your teammates after a big play shows that you're playing for each other, and all very, very important things.
This is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Round here, it's all or nothing. And nobody has more all-wheel drive choices than Toyota. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4. Or 5.75 on RAV4 Hybrid. Excludes plug-ins. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $309 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey friends, Beamer here. In the spirit of Halloween, Awaken 180 is offering free consultations. Learn how scary fast and how scary easy losing weight can be. For mine, I brought all the questions, and in the end, Awaken 180 was an absolute no-brainer for me. Determine if Awaken 180 is right for you. The free consultations end October 31st. Reserved by phone only at 844-346-1800. For details and the number, visit awaken180weightloss.com. Scary easy with scary fast results.
Give the gift everyone wants. Fun in your own game room. Billiards Plus has gifts for everyone. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, card tables, grills, and more. With professional delivery and installation, you'll beat the last-minute scramble. Reserve yours now. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Looking to get your roof or siding replaced this fall? Call the company that delivers an excellent customer experience every time. Newman Roofing. Don't wait. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. but only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do you have on the poll tonight?
Daily Fan Poll asks, what would you consider the minimum requirement to be for the Cleveland Cavaliers this season to be considered successful? Your options are make the playoffs, make the East Finals, make the NBA Finals, win the NBA Finals. 40% say make the NBA Finals. Another 40% say make the East Finals. 9% win the NBA Finals.
Where are you?
You got to make the NBA Finals.
Bake?
I think NBA Finals as well. I'm with Reese on that.
I think that's the right answer. Some of those West teams look like they're built in labs, and you just might not have enough. But I do think that that's the case, that getting to the NBA Finals would do it. Central Ohio is ripe for a bandwagon. We saw it. We saw it in the LeBron years. If they get hot, if they make a run in the postseason, we jump all over it. Historically, when they make a run to the finals, Columbus is usually a top 4 market in the country for viewership. So they can come down here and steal it pretty easy if they have some success. And it's a special group, and good job out of Dan Gilbert. I mean, he's everything you want in an owner. You want to write big checks? I'll write all the big checks you want. You want to? I don't know. I won't blink an eye at paying for the highest payroll in all of basketball. And then he trusts his basketball people too. Big reason they're in this spot with all this is, as Danny pointed out, they drafted well, and then they kept their guys. So, yeah, it's a kind of an organizational masterclass in how to run an operation. It's a First Friday. Time for your officially endorsed.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday, officially endorsed, because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
Sponsored by Hydrate Me Med Spa. Feel better, recover faster, live optimized with Hydrate Me.
Drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good, because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar, because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
So the Buckeyes are off this week, so I'm going to be off this week from the alcohol as well. And I was curious because our friends at Go Brewing have been on with us for Learned and Earned for the last few weeks, and I wanted to try some of their offerings. So the one that spoke to me was something called, let me get the name of it. I want to be specific, Salty Lime AF Chelada. Chelada, that's what it is. So it's a Mexican theme. It's got heavy lime, heavy salt. I hit it with a little bit of Clamato on top, which reminded me of a bloody beer from my youth. It was a delight. So let's go that way. Salty Lime AF Chelada. That is your officially endorsed from our friends at Go Brewing. We appreciate them every single Friday. And if you're looking for a break, it certainly works as one. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. All right, time for 3 things on a First Friday.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number 1 for me. On this date, 35 years ago, Pearl Jam played their first gig. So 2 things. 1, I feel old. Number 2, I was always a Pearl Jam guy. If you're my age, you're either a Pearl Jam guy or Nirvana guy. I was a Pearl Jam guy. I did that without knowing initially that the bassist for Pearl Jam is a guy named Jeff Ament, who's from Big Sandy, Montana, which is 45 minutes from where I grew up. And they used to start every tour in Missoula, Montana, where the Montana Grizzlies play their football games at Washington Grizzly Stadium. And having been to that show once, it's an all-timer. So thanks for 35 years of greatness, boys.
Man, talk about nostalgia.
Yeah,
right
a lot of it here.
Yeah,
Did you ever see them live?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw them live in Missoula. I saw them once at the Gorge. They're unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a tour last year I was looking at. The Dark Matter tour. The radio salary is not providing to go see that, but that's definitely on the bucket list if they do have tours in the near future. First thing for me, NASA says that there are currently 2 moons orbiting the Earth.
For God's sakes.
Yeah, so the regular moon, and then an asteroid that's been traveling with the planet in its rotation around the sun since the 1960s. It's an asteroid named 2025 PN7. NASA confirmed this week discovered by the University of Hawaii is a quasi-moon, a rare type of celestial companion that travels almost exactly in sync with Earth. So it's not a true moon, but it keeps pace with us, looping around the sun in a path so similar it appears to shadow our planet as it orbits.
This has been since 1960s, and we're just now figuring out about this.
Hey, at least it's not a battle station. Remember last time? That's a moon. That's no moon.
How did all the astronauts that landed on the moon not see this?
Just be happy with be happy with Discovery.
I don't know what to believe.
I know we've been nitpicking Ohio State some because that's what you have to do when your team's 7-0 and playing this good. And one of the things that came up to a lot of people this week was the running game. Well, this stat, through 7 games, Ohio State has a 62.6% passing success rate as a team. No team has broken 60% in the playoff era. The best season ever, the 2020 Buckeyes at 59.6%. The second best, 2021 Coastal Carolina at 58.3%. The Joe Burrow team, 2019 for LSU, that was so good in the passing game, 57.7%. That's the fourth most all time. So maybe this Buckeyes team really doesn't need to run the ball. Maybe they can just sling it around and win games.
Until somebody stops it. I don't know. Number 2 for me. So I saw that NBC showed me this story last night that the Louvre was stolen from. They got some Napoleon jewels that were stolen from the Louvre. And he goes, look, Dad, somebody stole from the Louvre. And I go, dude, nobody stole anything from the Louvre. And he's like, no, look. And I just got fooled on the Everest thing. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I look into this. Apparently they did. Here's the thing I still don't really believe it. I kind of wonder if this is like a publicity stunt for the next Ocean's movie. That's the first thing that came into my head. Is this like for Ocean's, whatever number they're on now, like Ocean's 14, 15, something like that? That's the first thing I thought of. I really don't believe it until I see these jewels somewhere else.
It would be Ocean's 14, I think. And they reportedly did this at 9:30 in the morning.
In construction outfits?
Paris in construction outfits. And at this point, the things that I've read about it, because I'm kind of now rooting for these guys to get away with it.
Me too.
Like, don't tell the French authorities that, but the gems and the gold and everything is probably either melted down or broken apart at this point. Gosh. Which I guess that'll be my second thing. What do you do with
it? Like, if you stole it, what do you do with it? Do you just show it to people who come to your house and fancy? Hey, I stole these.
I think you sell it to people that look what I have, Napoleon jewels.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's what rich people like to do. Have things that nobody else on the planet can have, even if they can't tell the authorities about it.
Second thing for me, and I don't think we're going to have time for 3, so I'm just going to bust this out now. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Adam Schefter on a Wednesday, and the General Bob Carpenter as well.
You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Enjoy your first Friday. Act accordingly. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man